Josh McAdams, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Welcome inside Southern Maryland. Andrew Banster here to take you through Game 3 of a 3-game series between your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and the Long Island Ducks, the second of 3 series in this 10-game homestand, the longest of the season for Southern Maryland. The Blue Crabs on a 2-game losing streak. The offense has really struggled in these last 2 days, accumulating just 1 run and 19 innings of offense to accompany 7 hits. The Ducks' offense has not been all that much better. The Ducks combine for 4 hits in Game 1. In Game 2 and Game 1 combined, you've got 10 hits, 3 runs. It is a 3-1 series between these two teams. As the Blue Crabs take on the Long Island Ducks, the hometown hero Daryl Thompson on the mound. Thompson 15-8 on the season, a 2.99 ERA. Thompson 14 strikeouts shy of breaking an Atlantic League single-season record for strikeouts in a season. Comes into play at 155, make that 151. The all-time record in a season is 164, set by the 2016 Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year. Jonathan Abladejo is a member of the now-defunct Bridgeport Bluefish. Thompson, additionally, with a win today, would be tied for the 5th most wins in Atlantic League history in a season. Thompson comes into play today, finding himself top 4 in innings pitched, wins, as well as strikeouts in Atlantic League history. He has also set career highs in wins, strikeouts, and innings pitched in his 17th professional season. The lineup for the Ducks today, the right fielder Darby Myers leads it off with the second baseman Steve Lombardozzi backing him up. Batting third's L.J. Mazzilli, the left fielder, followed by the designated hitter Hector Sanchez. Batting fifth, Debinson Romero, the third baseman, followed by the center fielder Daniel Fields. 7-8-9 for the Ducks reads as follows. It's Ramon Cabrera, the catcher, the shortstop Vladimir Frias, and batting ninth, the first baseman Clint Freeman. On the mound, an 8-year MLB veteran Brian Mattis. He's 2-2 on the season with a 3.44 ERA. The lineup for the Blue Crabs, presented by Birch Oil, as always, leads off with the shortstop, Kent Blackstone. The left fielder, number 15, Joe Benson, bats second, with the designated hitter, John Griffin, batting third. Tony Thomas, the third baseman, bats fourth, with Corey Vaughn batting fifth. He plays center. The catcher, number 8, Charlie Valerio, bats sixth. McAdams, the first baseman, bats seventh, as Thompson's first pitch misses upstairs. The count 1-0 to start the game. Keeping it going, after Josh McAdams, it's Ruby Silva, the second baseman, number 1, batting eighth. And Travis Witherspoon, the right fielder, bats ninth. Thompson's next pitch, a high fly ball to the right side. Josh McAdams in foul ground near the first base coaching box. Backing up on the play and catching for out number 1, and that's how we get through out number 1 of this series. I beg your pardon, of this contest. The Blue Crabs have just been phenomenal on the mound in this homestand. Coming into play in 45 innings pitched, the Blue Crabs have a 1 ERA, allowing just 1 earned run in 45 innings pitched. They have been absolutely fantastic. The offense has not caught up with them, however, as a pitch misses off the outside corner. I beg your pardon, catches for strike number 1. Once again, Thompson, 14 strikeouts shy of breaking an Atlantic League record for strikeouts in a season. There's a line drive hit down the right field line. Could it stay fair? No, it will not, and the count 0-2. Just a couple of weeks ago, back on August the 28th, Thompson was on track for 10 more strikeouts than anybody in Atlantic League history, but after being a late scratch for a start, he finds himself not starting quite as many games as he once was scheduled to on the season. So that, combined with lower strikeout numbers as of late, makes Thompson on track for a total of 162.4 strikeouts this season. It's going to be a tough race to get there, but Thompson has a really, really clear-cut path and an availability to break that record, as a fly out to right field is out number 2. Interestingly, as cited in the WTOP article by Noah Frank on Daryl Thompson's historic season, I would venture to say that Daryl Thompson is a lock for the Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year, by the way. Nonetheless, as it says in that article, Thompson earlier this year had 11 straight wins. Only 12 times in MLB history has that been bested. 3 times since 1968. Thompson's mentality was compared to those like Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer as strike one catches on the outside corner to L.J. Mazzilli, who's had Thompson's number this season. He's 5 for 12 against Darryl in 2019. Both Mazzilli and Thompson, Atlantic League All-Stars this season. As Darryl comes home with a curveball that misses on the outside corner, the count 1-1. Thompson, the ERA at 2.98. That's fourth best in the league. He leads the league in strikeouts with 151, wins with 15, games started with 26, innings pitched with 181. He's tied for first in complete games and shutouts as a pitch misses on the outside corner. 2-1 the count. He is second in walks plus hits per innings pitched at .98, third in win percentage at .650, fourth in ERA. He holds 2/3 of an Atlantic League Triple Crown as Mazzilli fouls strike number 2 away. In the second half, Thompson has been masterful. He is 9-2 in the second half with a 2.10 ERA, 70 strikeouts and 85 2/3 innings pitched. Yesterday, Thompson named the MVP of the Blue Crabs 2019 season. Curveball swung on and missed, and they're gonna say that ball had a foul tip on it. I beg your pardon. No, they're not. That's strike number 3. Strikeout number 152 on the season for Darryl Thompson. He is now 13 shy of an Atlantic League record as Darryl Thompson continues on his treacherous pace to a 2019 season. Send it to a quick break and come right back on the Blue Crabs broadcast network.
Hi, this is Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk. Make your plans today to visit Cooperstown and the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Reconnect with your memories of the game and make new memories with your family. Check out baseballhall.org today for more information.
Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there, Joe.
The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, preserving history, honoring excellence, and connecting generations.
This is Corey Vaughn. Are you looking for fun on the weekend without breaking the bank? My Eye Doctor Backfin Buddies is for you. For just $15, your child will get in for free to every Friday Blue Crabs home game all season long. Plus, kids receive a Backfin Buddies t-shirt, go on the field for the national anthem, and parents will get a reduced ticket rate. What more could you ask for? Come watch me hit a home run every Friday for just $15.
This is Josh McAdams, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Welcome back into the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network. Andrew Banster here to take you through the bottom of the first inning. It has been a very quiet offensive series between these two teams. They have played 19.5 innings to this point in the series, including the first 9 being scoreless. We went into 10 for the first time in 2019 at Regency Furniture Stadium. First time under the new Atlantic League rule changes. The Ducks won that game 1-0. 7 combined hits between the two teams in 10 innings as Brian Mattis takes the mound. Fastball outside corner, strike number 1 to Kent Blackstone here in the bottom of the first. Last night, it was 2-1 Ducks at the end of the day. Just 10 combined hits in the game yesterday. One of those from Kent Blackstone was a triple to the right center gap. This one slapped down the third base line. Could it stay fair? Yes, it can, but a brilliant play by the left fielder L.J. Mazzilli to rob Kent Blackstone of a base hit, probably extra bases. The story on Brian Mattis, one of the most decorated Major League veterans to play in the Atlantic League this season. Mattis, a longtime Baltimore Oriole, originally a first-round draft pick, 4th overall in 2008 by the Baltimore Orioles, out of the University of San Diego. Made his MLB debut just a season later as Joe Benson fouls a pitch back over our heads. Season later, he was 5-2 in 2009 with a 4.63 ERA. That did not qualify as a rookie. So the next season, he went 10-12 with a 4.30 ERA, finishing 5th in the 2010 MLB Rookie of the Year voting. That season, Neftali Feliz of the Rangers won the Rookie of the Year. Austin Jackson, Danny Valencia, and Wade Davis followed in the voting. The count, a ball and a strike to the MLB veteran Joe Benson. A long windup from Mattis. Tucks the glove, gets strike number 2 across on the outside corner. The numbers for Mattis on the season: he is 2-2 with a 3.44 ERA. He's been awfully good, took a year or two off of baseball, and was quoted as saying he just had the itch to come back and play. He's made 7 starts for the Ducks this season as Joe Benson gets under a baseball, flips the bat over his head as the first make that second baseman is going to come under it. Steve Lombardozzi puts Joe Benson away for out number 2. Mattis, 7 appearances with the Ducks, 7 starts. Has gone at least 4 innings in each of his 7 starts. The most earned runs he's given up was 3. He did that 3 consecutive starts. 1 against the Rockers, 1 against the Patriots, 1 against your Blue Crabs. Against Southern Maryland, back on August the 28th in Long Island, Mattis went 5 innings, allowing 6 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, 2 home runs in that contest, as John Griffin fouls a pitch back. The count 0-1. Those home runs in that contest came from Charlie Valerio and Josh McAdams. Those two combined to be 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and a double this season against Brian Mattis. Mattis with a very slow windup as John Griffin just offers it a pitch and it touches the lumber for strike number 2. All in all, in the 8-year MLB career of numbers that are recorded on BaseballReference.com, Mattis made $9,850,000 in the MLB, and that's not even accounting what he made in 5 of his 8 seasons. Likely far more than that. Fastball fouled away, the count at 0-2. Edwin Garcia gets the day off today. He is as close to an Iron Man as you're going to find in the Atlantic League. Each of these last 2 seasons, he's been among the individuals with the most games played this season. Of the 132 games that the Blue Crabs have played, Garcia has played in 131 of them entering today. Has started the game on the bench just twice entering the day as a fastball is spoiled off to the right side here on our second Bark in the Park day here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Both sides go up, go down, and we're through, incredibly, the 20th inning of this series. The combined score between the 20 innings, 3 runs for the Ducks, 1 run for the Blue Crabs, a total of 9 hits for the Ducks, a total of 7 hits for the Blue Crabs. So we're through 20 innings, a combined 4 runs, and a combined total of 17 hits through 20 innings between the two teams. Daryl Thompson back on the mound looking for history when we return on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
This is Adam Choplik, left-handed pitcher for the Blue Crabs. Every Blue Crabs Wednesday home game is Wind Up Wednesday Ladies Night at Regency Furniture Stadium, presented by Cove Point Winery. At every Wind Up Wednesday Ladies Night, women will get in for just $5 and can order from a long list of fine wines and watch every baseball game from Southern Maryland at the same time. We look forward to seeing you at the ballpark.
Hey, Blue Crabs fans, are you looking to watch a game from one of our luxury suites? How about the High-End Legends Club in left field? Call 301-638-9788 and ask to speak to a sales representative about your party or group outing.
This is Tony Thomas, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Back into Regency Furniture Stadium, Andrew Banster here to take you through the second inning of baseball. It has been a defensive showcase in this series to this point. In fact, in the homestand as a whole, the Blue Crabs pitching staff has combined for arguably their best stretch of baseball in this season. Let's consider we're in the dog days of summer as Hector Sanchez thinks about bunting, but pulls back at strike number one called anyways. Coming into today, the Blue Crabs pitching staff combined for 45 innings pitched, 5 earned runs in that time frame. That's a 1.00 ERA. Fastball tucked under the arms of Sanchez, misses ball number one. Hector hits .333 in the month of September. Third game played in 3 this series. This the first not in a catching role. He gets the designated hitter honors today. 1-2 the count. Thompson back on the mound. The ERA down to 2.97. Has thrown 14 pitches after that 79-mile-an-hour curveball. Another curveball. Sanchez a piece of it. The count 1-2. This season, Hector 4 for 13 against Daryl Thompson. A .269 hitter on the season with 9 home runs and 54 RBIs. Thompson disguises his face with his tan glove in front of it. Fastball once again spoiled away. Sanchez not going down easy. So it's interesting that Daryl Thompson is closing in on Atlantic League history. Well, at the very least, likely finish top 5 in Atlantic League history in strikeouts in a season. Needs 13 more this season to pass the all-time record of 164 in a season. As a fastball misses inside 2-2 the count. But it's interesting that Daryl's doing that because he's gone on the record multiple times as saying, he said to me on our broadcast, on our interview, he said, I'm not a strikeout pitcher. Told Noah Frank of WTOP, I'm just trying to pitch to contact. And that's exactly what he does. It's a transformation in his game, as Noah said. But it's worked out and turned into strikeouts. A lot of that because of that nasty breaking curveball Thompson has. Top of the second. Line drive into the left center alley, but pretty shallow, right at Joe Benson. An easy putout for out number one. Thompson with 1 strikeout to this point after facing 4 batters. And now Debinson Romero comes up to the plate. Romero hits .273 against Daryl Thompson this season. Go check out that article on WTOP.com. It's called The Old Man in the Atlantic League, Daryl Thompson's Historic Run. Thompson, a graduate of La Plata High School, just 5 miles away from Regency Furniture Stadium. Corey Vaughn said about Daryl Thompson, when you think of the Blue Crabs, he is basically the heart and soul of the team. He's like the hometown hero around here. And Stan Clyburn had a quote in that article that also was extremely true. I coordinate with Stan Clyburn what the Blue Crabs pitching rotation will be quite frequently to get to other teams. Because of that, every once in a while somebody will ask me from the front office or what have you, who's going to be pitching coming up soon, as a fan has asked them, or I beg your pardon, all the time people will come up to the front office and say, when is Daryl Thompson pitching next? That's how much people love him around here. As the ball misses inside 2-0 the count. And I'm always calculating when he's going to be pitching next because people are always asking about it. Debinson Romero 1 for 4 last night, 1 for 8 on the series as ball number 3 misses downstairs. The walk numbers on the season tremendously low for Daryl Thompson. Just 22 walks and 180 2/3 innings pitched entering play today. But the walk numbers have been a little bit higher of late. Thompson, in his last handful of starts, has walked more batters than he had coming into the second half of the season as ball number 4 misses upstairs. Debinson Romero on a 4-pitch free pass. In fact, Thompson has walked at least 2 batters in each of his last 5 starts, totaling for 12 walks in his last 5 starts, 13 in his last 6. He also had a stretch with back-to-back 2-walk games on July the 18th and July the 23rd. At the time, those were absolute shockers as Daryl Thompson tosses his 22nd walk of his season. Make that his 23rd. As Daniel Fields takes upstairs, ball number 1, 5 straight pitches outside of the strike zone for the guy with the best control of anybody I've ever seen in the game of baseball. Coming into play today, Daryl Thompson at a 7.39 strikeout to walk ratio. Fields chases a fastball upstairs, fouls it into the seating bowl for strike number 1. Daniel Fields this season 0 for 7 with 7 strikeouts against Daryl Thompson. Really struggles against the right-handed Daryl Thompson this season. Fields 0 for 3 last night, got the first game of the series off as he fouls a pitch back, 1-2 the count. Fields a .242 hitter on the season, hitting just .227 in the second half of the 2019 campaign, but that's pretty typical. Guys are going to tend to struggle more so in the second half than they are in the first half. It's because it's a long season, 140 games, and you're going to start getting tired when you play 140 games in basically 150 days. A big looping curveball, strike number 3 looking. Strikeout number 100. And, excuse me, I beg your pardon, Daryl Thompson with his 153rd strikeout of the season. He is now 12 shy of breaking an Atlantic League record. Thompson typically pitches very deep into contests. That's shown by the fact that he leads the league in innings pitched. But you take a look even further at it, and you find out that Daryl Thompson has made 26 starts this season, which is a league high. He has gone at least 6 innings in 25 of his 26 starts and has allowed more than 3 runs just 4 times. In fact, we mentioned that 25 of his 26 starts on the season have gone at least 6 innings. The other one, it was 5 innings, which is basically average for most pitchers at the professional level. As a single through the right side, that's the first hit of this contest from either side. Comes from the catcher Ramon Cabrera in his first game of this series. Entering play, he was 0 for 6 on the season against Daryl Thompson. 1 away, runners at first and second. It's Vladimir Frias that comes to the dish. He has struggled tremendously against Thompson this season, hitting just 1 for 15 with a strikeout. Frias, a .234 hitter on the season, bumps up a little bit in September at .255 here on Stats Sunday. Fastball high and away, 1-0 the count from Thompson to Frias. Thompson entered play, looking for his 16th win of the season. That would finish top 5 in Atlantic League history in a single season. Additionally, 12 strikeouts shy of setting a new Atlantic League record in a season. Changeup past the swinging bat of Frias. He nearly had whiplash on that pitch. He was so in front of it, it looked like. And that's not a criticism. It just looked like his neck may have been slightly in pain there. Looked painful. Vladimir Frias wears number 1 on the back of the jersey. The story for Frias, he's a switch hitter, 6'2" out of Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Last paid for Lancaster. Curveball comes in and hits Vladimir Frias, I believe, and that'll load the bases with 1 down. Thompson's last start, he went 8 innings, 1 earned run, 3 total runs, 1 unearned. 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. Thompson allows the bases to be loaded here for the 9-hole hitter Clint Freeman. Thompson started game 1 of this homestand. He did get the loss. He allowed just 1 earned run in 8 innings of work. 2 unearned runs in the very first inning of that contest. Came on a Ruby Silva misplayed fly ball that allowed 2 runs to score, and the Blue Crabs would lose that game by a score of 3-2 as strike number 1 catches the outside corner. Freeman this season 0 for 6 against Thompson. This is first game played of this 3-game series. The finale here today at Bark in the Park at Regency Furniture Stadium. Not too late to bring out your pup to the ballpark. Curveball, strike number 2 as Thompson gets a bender across. Some scores across the Atlantic League today. York and Lancaster tied at 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Sugar Land and New Britain tied at 1. If New Britain loses today and Long Island wins, Long Island will clinch a second-half victory. This could be 2, but Thompson misplays it. A throw off to first in the dirt, missed by Josh McAdams behind him. And Hector Sanchez stays put over there at third base. Thompson, from the Waldorf area, lives here in the offseason and travels around the area helping with free clinics. I was once told by the bench coach Joe Walsh that in 6 years he's never gotten a ground ball past Daryl Thompson. He fields his position that well, but this time a strange bounce out there on the mound, and it falls down as what could go down as an error. We're going to have to wait for the official ruling on that. Bottom of this, make that top of the second inning here in Waldorf. First pitch across to Darby Myers. It misses outside. So one comes across to score for the Long Island Ducks here in this top of the second inning. Clint Freeman just got jammed up, tried to get it in play, and good things typically happen. Could have been a double play ball as Myers gets jammed up. The count 1-1 after a foul ball. Still waiting on that decision on whether it goes down as a hit or an error. You can't expect the double play, so that run is likely earned. Thompson facing off against Darby Myers, who is 1 for 7 with a strikeout against him on the season. Myers, first time up, he flew out to the first baseman, Josh McAdams. On that last play, Thompson just kind of an underhand toss off to first, almost a submarine style. It was low and in the dirt, and Josh McAdams had trouble coming up with it. Honestly, the best thing that happened in that play is the fact that Darby Myers, I beg your pardon, the fact that Ramon Cabrera didn't come around to score. He probably had time to do so, but it was impossible to know at the time that he would have. McAdams was having trouble finding the ball. 1-2 the count. Darby Myers, a former Southern Maryland Blue Crab, was traded to the Ducks from the Somerset Patriots earlier this season. Curveball off the plate, ball number 2. Good job by Charlie Valerio to be a wall back there behind the dish. As Darby Myers takes his time outside the box. The score 1-0, bases juiced for the Ducks. Top of the second, 1 down, the score 1-0 Long Island. Fastball swung on and missed. Strikeout number 3, out number 3 of this second inning. Thompson strikes out his second batter of the frame and his third of the day. He is now 11 shy of an all-time record. In the Atlantic League, he allows a run to come around and score. Still waiting to hear on the call from that. We'll get it to you on the other end of this break. You're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, this is Andrew Banstra, the voice of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, and I want you to come see America's pastime change before your eyes. Did you know that the Atlantic League is partnered with the MLB starting this season to incorporate an electronic strike zone to call balls and strikes at Blue Crabs games? That means a radar tracking technology and an MLB-defined strike zone will determine strikes and balls at Southern Maryland Blue Crabs games this season. Also, batters can steal first base on any pitch that is not caught by the catcher. Baseball is changing before our eyes, and the only place to see it happen is here in the Atlantic League and at a Blue Crabs game. So come check it out at Regency Furniture Stadium.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, this is Tommy Thorpe, left-handed pitcher for the Blue Crabs. Did you know that every Thursday night game at Regency Furniture Stadium will feature the brand new food special, Clyburn's Chow Hall? Just for $30, you can enjoy all-you-can-eat food in the Legends Club. Clyburn's Chow Hall will alternate between beer and wings presented by Foster Grill off Waldorf and tacos and margaritas presented by Mexico Restaurant.
This is Mike Falsetti, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Tony Thomas leads us off in the bottom of the second inning. An official ruling on that very last play that we were talking about. Clint Freeman's hit up the middle does go down as a single. So an RBI single, an earned run against Daryl Thompson. Just the 21st earned run against Thompson in the second half of this season. Fastball, first pitch, misses down low to Tony Thomas, and we're underway in the bottom of the second. Thompson worked out of a bases-loaded jam, struck out his 154th batter of the season. He is now 10 shy of breaking an Atlantic League record, 11 shy. I beg your pardon, 10 shy of tying an Atlantic League record, 11 shy of breaking and setting a new record. Brian Mattis, the southpaw on the mound. Bottom of the second here, just one combined hit in this contest. Thompson walked a man and hit a man in his last half inning as Tony Thomas swings through a pitch. The count, 2 balls and a strike. Thomas on the season finds himself an .267 hitter, 16 home runs, a team-leading 64 RBIs as Thomas jolts one the other way, foul. Tony 1 for 2 against Brian Mattis this season with a double. In fact, the Blue Crabs all hit very powerfully against the man on the mound this season in just one start against. Handful of doubles, 2 home runs against Mattis as a changeup misses just low and away, the count full at 3-2. Mentioned Mattis was drafted 4th overall back in 2008. First pick that year, Tim Beckham, then Pedro Alvarez. Eric Hosmer was 3rd overall. Mattis was selected 1 pick before Buster Posey as a 7-pitch walk is drawn by Tony Thomas. First man on board for the Blue Crabs this evening. That brings up Corey Vaughn, who has flashed tremendous power against these Long Island Ducks this season. Vaughn finds himself hitting just .204 versus the Ducks, but in 13 games, he has 5 home runs and 7 RBIs. Vaughn takes a healthy hack, gets a piece of it, but fouls it right back into the mitt of Ramon Cabrera, a catcher for the first time in this series for the Long Island Ducks. Vaughn in his 3rd year with the Blue Crabs, trying to give his longtime teammate Daryl Thompson some run support. They're going to say that's strike number 2. Vaughn says okay and waits back into his box. Corey's home runs come in bursts, he said it himself. His most recent home run was not all that recently ago. Still expecting a power outbreak. As the ball comes into the right center portion of the field, pretty shallow, and is caught by the right fielder Darby Myers for out number 1 of this bottom of the second inning. And I say not all that recently with a grain of salt in there because Vaughn leads this team in home runs, homers quite frequently. His last one was on September 3rd, and it's only September 15th, but Vaughn on the season, coming into a couple of weeks ago, was averaging a home run about every 4.5 games. So considering it's been since September 3rd, it's really not all that long in the grand scheme of things compared to anybody else on the team, but for his own standards, he set for himself, it's been a little bit of a break. Vaughn has had, as Charlie Valerio comes up to the plate, Vaughn has had multiple times this season where he's just exploded in the home run category. That's shown with 5 home runs in 13 games against the Ducks as Valerio fouls one to the left side, 0-2 the count. This season, Corey Vaughn had 4 home runs in a series against the New Britain Bees, and then had 1 home run in each of the 3 games against the Long Island Ducks from August 5th to August 8th. So 7 of his 21 home runs on the season have come in 8 games. 4 of those games in consecutive order, the other 3 in consecutive order. As Valerio fights to stay alive against Brian Mattis. Some other notable names in that 2008 draft. Garrett Cole was taken 24 picks after the guy on the mound, Brian Mattis. 0-2 changeup outside corner. No call from the home plate umpire, Larry Rosenberg. The rest of the umpiring crew: at first, Joe DeBalso, and at third, Bill Worthington. As Valerio rips one to the left side, but fielding his position very well today has been L.J. Mazzilli, as this one gets past the first baseman, Clint Freeman. He throws in at a second, not in time. And a really good base running move right there by Tony Thomas, who's now going to advance to third base after the play. So now a runner at third with two down for the Blue Crabs. L.J. Mazzilli played second base for this Long Island Ducks team a handful of times against the Blue Crabs this season, but transitions into the outfield role and has really excelled for the Ducks. Fields his position very well, showed off a really healthy arm there, but probably not the best decision to throw the ball. Here comes Josh McAdams. McAdams got a rare night off yesterday, has struggled in the homestand comparatively. Josh hits .283 on the season, which leads the Blue Crabs. In fact, he got an award from Southern Maryland yesterday for having the highest average on the team. He is very close, but does not qualify statistically for Southern Maryland, as he only started a handful of games in the first few months. But in those games, he really excelled, and slowly but surely his playing time became more frequent. And eventually Stan Clyburn had no decision but to just put him in there more, and eventually it became a full-time thing. McAdams peaked his batting average in the low 310s in the high 310s, pretty deep into this season as he fouls a pitch away. This season coming to a close, the Blue Crabs in their 133rd game of 140 on the campaign. McAdams has played in 82 of the 132 games entering play. 0-2 slap foul gets out of play, or probably should, I should say, as Clint Freeman almost had enough room, but that's been a tricky area on either side of the field. Couldn't quite see it on your screen, but near the dugout, near the bullpen, there is a set of stairs that lead from the field level up until the seating bowl level. And those stairs, concrete, can be a little bit tricky in foul territory. Freeman almost ran into him. Thankfully, he's okay. The count 0-2 once more from Mattis. Fastball really revved it up on that pitch, and it's past Josh McAdams, swinging for strike number 3. The first strikeout of the starter, Brian Mattis' evening. That's significant considering in the first 2 games of this series, Ducks pitchers combined for 11 2/3 innings with 21 strikeouts. In addition, the Ducks pitchers in 19 innings have struck out 29 Blue Crabs entering play today. Only 1 strikeout for the Crabs through 2 innings. It's a 1-0 Ducks lead on the Blue Crabs broadcast network.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, are you looking to watch a game from one of our luxury suites with 25 of your closest friends? How about the high-end Legends Club in left field? Call 301-638-9788 and ask to speak to a sales representative about your party and group outing.
Hi, this is Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk. Make your plans today to visit Cooperstown and the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Reconnect with your memories of the game and make new memories with your family. Check out baseballhall.org today for more information.
Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there, Joe.
The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, preserving history, honoring excellence, and connecting generations.
Johnston, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Daryl Thompson back on the mound for his third inning of work. Faces off against the 2-3-4 of this Long Island Ducks order. It's Steve Lombardozzi, LJ Mazzilli, and Hector Sanchez. They combine for an 0-for-3 clip with a strikeout to their efforts today. First pitch from a former teammate of Steve Lombardozzi's, Daryl Thompson, as Lombardozzi was a one-time Southern Maryland Blue Crab. Is a ball. Second pitch slapped down the first base line. It's just a touch foul. Good job vocalizing that by our first base umpire. First base umpire for today is Joe DeBalso. I beg your pardon, DeBalso, the third base umpire. Bill Worthington, the first base umpire. Behind the dish is Larry Rosenberg. Some significant storylines to today's contest. If the Ducks win and the New Britain Bees lose, the Long Island Ducks will clinch a second half championship. They've already clinched a playoff spot after winning the first half. The little chip shot is sent into the Seating Bowl foul. One, make that 2-2 the count. Additionally, the Ducks, with a handful of games left to play already, find themselves tied for a season record in terms of wins in a season with 82. Breaking ball gets away from Charlie Valerio. The count full at 3-2. Lombardozzi against Daryl Thompson on the season, 2 for 7 with a home run. He's the only Duck to hit a home run against Daryl Thompson this season. Daryl finds himself nearing history with every strikeout notched as a line drive on a fastball is hit through the right side of the infield for a base hit. Just the second hit of this contest, both of them coming from the Ducks. That brings up LJ Mazzilli. Mazzilli 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Came into play tied for the 8th best batting average in the Atlantic League at a .296 clip. Top of the third action, Blue Crabs on Ducks. Final meeting between the two teams on the 2019 season. The 21st matchup between the Ducks and the Blue Crabs this season. Southern Maryland 8-12 against Long Island this season, currently riding a 2-game losing streak. Blue Crabs 4-6 at home versus the Ducks, 4-6 on the road versus the Ducks. Blue Crabs will finish with a better record against Long Island this season than last. Last season, the Blue Crabs were 6-12 against Long Island in a shortened 2018 Atlantic League season. Thompson on the 0-1. Curveball swung on and missed. A big looper, and the count 0-2. In the last 5 years entering play, the Blue Crabs also a worse winning percentage against the Ducks, so this season an improvement comparatively. Last 5 years, the record for the Blue Crabs against the Ducks is 34-64. In this decade against the Long Island Ducks, as a curveball is lined up the middle, Mazzilli did a really good job to just sit on that curveball. Of course, you expect fastball and adjust, but when you see that curveball, Mazzilli was able to just sit back on it and line it up the middle. And for the second inning in a row, Daryl Thompson's in a little bit of trouble. Once again, Thompson having one of the best seasons in Atlantic League history. Finishing that other point, the Blue Crabs this decade versus the Ducks, 86-109. All time between these two teams, the Blue Crabs are 109-126. The Ducks have a chance to tie a franchise record for wins in a season. The mark right now, 82 is the best ever. It looks like a ball is in the left field corner. I beg your pardon, a door is open. Joe Benson will go and close it a couple of times. The Ducks' inaugural season was 2000. That year they had 82 wins. First time that they have a real shot at, they could for the first time ever have more than 82 wins this season. They are at 82 right now. About 5 games removed from a franchise-tying 12-game win streak. As a liner down the first base line, that'll score a run or two. Thompson allows a single to the right side. Travis Witherspoon falls in the right field corner. Runner is being waved around third base. Silva, a strong throw home, not in time. And a pair of runs come around to score against Daryl Thompson. That is a rare, rare sight. Still no down, and now runner in scoring position. Let's keep in mind, we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, but this season, Daryl Thompson, in his 26 starts, has allowed more than 3 runs just 4 times on the year. In fact, he has allowed 2 or less runs more times than he has allowed more than 3 runs on the season. In fact, in his last 5 starts, he's allowed 1 earned run in each of his last 5 starts. The ERA well under 2 in his last 5 starts entering play. As a long fly ball to the left side. That just jammed up Debinson Romero, but it gets out of here. A 2-run shot for Debinson Romero, and that makes the score 5-0 Ducks as Daryl Thompson struggles early. This season, Daryl Thompson has given up more than 4 runs, a total of 5 times now. The amount of times he's given up 5 or more runs, 4 times now. The season high in total of earned runs is 8. That was all the way back on May the 13th. Make that May the 18th. Entering play that day, Thompson's ERA was at 3.90. I beg your pardon. Entering play that day, it was at 1.98. After the 8 earned runs, there's a season high. He allowed those runs and saw his ERA go up to 3.90. Fastball swung on and missed from Daniel Fields on the outside corner. 0-2 the count to Fields. Thompson, if he gets a win today, would tie for the 5th most in Atlantic League history in a single season. Fastball upstairs misses. 1-2 the count. Fields this season 0 for 8 against Daryl Thompson with 8 strikeouts. 8 strikeouts and 8 plate appearances as he stays alive here. A ball and 2 strikes still the count. Thompson's ERA came in at 2.99. 5 earned runs have jumped it up to 3.20. Fastball, make that a curveball, swung on and missed. Strikeout number 4 for Daryl Thompson, and he continues his path to history. That's out number 1 of this top of the 3rd inning. As Thompson strikes out his 155th batter of the season, he is now 10 shy of setting a new Atlantic League record. Entering play today, Daryl Thompson had given up 5 earned runs in his last 5 starts combined. As a long shot to the right side, Travis Witherspoon back to the track, and it bounces on top of the fence. Witherspoon barehanded grab as Ramon Cabrera doubles. Thompson had given up no more than 5 hits in each of his last 5 starts, but Daryl has allowed a total of 4 hits in this inning alone. The most troublesome inning that Thompson has thrown, likely since August the 13th. That was a day he allowed 6 earned runs, but really that doesn't tell the whole story. It was against these Long Island Ducks. I beg your pardon. The start before that, he allowed 4 earned run against the Ducks. His next start, when he allowed 6 earned, it was a situation in which 2 of the runs that scored were inherited runners. It's a foul ball is hit over our heads, 0-1 the count. Thompson has now thrown 54 pitches, 34 of them for strikes. As somebody starts warming in the Blue Crabs bullpen, that is really interesting because Daryl Thompson this season, we've seen him in situations as a ground ball to the right side, fielded by Ruby Silva, thrown to first for out number 2. We've seen situations this season in which, and now they're checking to make sure that the pitcher's ready to come in. It's Ryan Chafee that's up and warming. But we've seen situations in which Daryl Thompson's pitch count was all the way up at 120, and nobody's been warming in the Blue Crabs bullpen in those situations. As Joe Walsh, the bench coach, is still signaling towards that bullpen, Hopefully nothing wrong with Daryl Thompson here. Pop fly to center. Corey Vaughn comes under it, and he'll catch for out number 3. Keep you in touch with Daryl Thompson and everything that's going on at the end of this inning. Hopefully he's okay. Let's send it to the bottom of the third on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, this is Andrew Banstra, the voice of the Blue Crabs, and I have some exciting news for you. Did you know that the Blue Crabs Atlantic League has partnered with the MLB? This groundbreaking partnership includes rule changes that foreshadow the future of America's pastime as we know it. The MLB wants to create more offense and cut down on the time of games, and the rule changes to achieve this include banning mound visits, requiring each pitcher that enters the game to face at least 3 batters, and shortening time in between innings, and much more. Come be the first to see the future of baseball at Regency Furniture Stadium.
This is Kent Blackstone, infielder for the Blue Crabs. Here at Regency Furniture Stadium, we've dedicated every Friday home game to remember everybody deployed. On Red Fridays, presented by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, the Blue Crabs will wear red uniforms to honor those who have served, plus tickets are just $5 when you show your military ID. Come help us celebrate those who have served our country at Regency Furniture Stadium every Friday night.
This is Ryan Chafee, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
At the current moment, Ryan Chafee has he has stopped throwing in the bullpen, but Mike Falsetti, the backup catcher for today's game, is headed down there with his gear on, just in case Chafee decides to throw again. This game has been about the most surprising outcome that I would have ever expected. Thompson had allowed 5 earned runs in his last 5 starts combined and had gone at least 6 2/3 in each of those 5 starts. Daryl additionally saw his team coming into this game, and really the other team too. The two teams through the first 20 innings of this series combined for 4 runs and a total of 17 hits. But to this point in the contest, the Ducks have 5 earned runs and 7 hits to their ledger. That is 3 less hits than they had in the first 20 innings of this series. Additionally, the 4 runs that the Ducks scored in the 3rd inning alone was as many combined runs as there were in the entirety of this series entering the 2nd inning of play. Game 1 of this series went to the Ducks in a 1-0 finish in extra innings. Game 2 went to the Ducks in a 2-1 final score after a pair of runs came around to score in the 1st inning. Ruby Silva up to the plate. Slider off the outside edge in there for strike number 1. A ball and a strike to count. Silva, the second baseman for the Blue Crabs today. Still no action in the Blue Crabs bullpen, making you think Thompson, who is also the pitching coach, must have said, "Nah, I can go," as LJ Mazzilli nearly makes another terrific play. Silva's going to round first and stay put. And the first hit of the day for the Blue Crabs comes off the left-handed bat of Ruby Silva. Going to need a lot more where that came from and start chipping away in this contest if you're Southern Maryland. And now we start looking at the scoreboard. Because if the New Britain Bees lose today and the Long Island Ducks win, then the Long Island Ducks will clinch a second-half championship on the Blue Crabs field, Regency Furniture Stadium. Currently, the Bees and the Skeeters tied at 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Additionally, the Blue Crabs would be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs with a loss today and a York Revolution win. The Rebs are tied at 3-3 in the top of the 7th right now. 0-1 the count from Brian Mattis, the 8-year MLB veteran, to Travis Witherspoon. Fastball outside corner swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. Mattis, born on February 11th, 1987 in Grand Junction, Colorado. Went to high school in Phoenix, Arizona, as Travis Witherspoon swings through strike number 3. Strikeout number 2 of the contest for Brian Mattis. Mattis appeared in a total of 280 games at the major league level, accumulating more than 500 innings pitched, nearly 500 strikeouts. He started in 69 games at the MLB level. Finished his career with a 2.3 WAR, a 27-41 record, and a 4.92 ERA. As Kent Blackstone fouls one back into the protective screening. Blackstone 0 for 1 with a fly out to the left fielder, L.J. Mazzilli. Kent 1 for 8 in the series. He had a triple to the right center alley last night. Mentioned coming into play that not only was Daryl Thompson named the MVP of the Blue Crabs 2019 season, likely will be the Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year as strike number 2 catches outside. But the Blue Crabs pitching staff in this homestand, including Daryl Thompson, allowed 5 earned runs in 45 innings of work. Thompson has allowed 5 earned through 3 innings today. Slider misses off the outside edge, 1-2 the count. Blackstone enters play as a .234 hitter on the season, a trio of home runs, and more than 7 times as many RBIs. Left-on-left matchup. Mattis slider on the outside corner, and the pitch misses. Ball number 2. Mattis played from 2009 through 2015 as a member of the Baltimore Orioles. He also pitched a little bit in 2016 with the Orioles before moving over to the Chicago Cubs. Appeared in just 1 game for the Cubs. It was a start, going 3 innings, allowing 6 earned runs. And that was the year that the Cubs won the World Series for the first time in a long, long time. The Cubs were nice enough to give Brian Mattis a World Series ring despite appearing in just 1 game. Fastball swung on and missed on the outside corner. Silva swipes second base in the meantime. And just like that, a runner in scoring position despite back-to-back strikeouts by Brian Mattis. That brings up Joe Benson to the plate. His first time hitting in the 2-hole for the Blue Crabs this season, as Edwin Garcia, in the 133rd game of the year, gets the day off for just the second time, gets the game started without a start in the starting lineup for just the 3rd time in 133 games. Garcia lost a 9-game hit streak yesterday when he finished the contest 0 for 4 with a strikeout. First pitch to Benson, in there for strike number 1 looking. Joe on the season, with runners in scoring position, is hitting just .183. The neon arm sleeve, as we've seen so often of late with Joe Benson and Tony Thomas. Fastball outside corner in there for strike number 2. Still no action in the Blue Crabs bullpen, so all signs point to Daryl Thompson coming back for a 4th inning. His season low in terms of innings pitched is 5. 25 of his 26 starts, he's gone at least 6 innings, which is just incredible. That is a big part of the reason why he leads the league in innings pitched and has set a new career high in his 17th professional season in wins, strikeouts, as well as games started and innings pitched. Set a new Atlantic League personal best in terms of appearances in a season with his start today as Benson takes his ball off the outside corner. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brian Mattis. The most money that Brian Mattis ever made in a season that's recorded is $3,200,000. That was back in 2015, where he pitched 49 innings for the Baltimore Orioles. Foul tip, strike number 3 from Joe Benson as Brian Mattis entered the 3rd inning of play with just 1 strikeout, but strikes out the side after allowing a single here in the 3rd. We're a third of the way through the contest. The Ducks on top 5-0 on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Blue Crabs fans.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, are you looking to watch a game from one of our luxury suites with 25 of your closest friends?
We'll keep it here throughout the break on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network. Mentioned the numbers for Daryl Thompson in his last 5 starts, but the Blue Crabs pitching staff as a whole in this homestand in 5 games had given up a total of just 5 earned runs. One of those coming from Daryl Thompson in 8 innings pitched entering play, but he allows 4 runs back in the top of the 3rd inning. That run total matched the combined runs between these two teams through the first 20 innings of this series. Through the first 20 innings of this series, the Ducks scored 3 runs while the Blue Crabs scored just 1. Through the first 20 innings, the Blue Crabs had a total of 7 hits, and the Ducks had a total of 10 hits. But Long Island put together a nice streak there in the 3rd. They had 5 hits in the 3rd inning, which is half as many hits as they had through games 1 and 2 of this series. In fact, those 4 hits in the 3rd inning alone are as many hits as they had in game 1 of this series in a 1-0 win. That game went into the 10th inning for the first time at home for the Blue Crabs this season. Per the Atlantic League MLB rule changes, a runner starts an extra inning in the Atlantic League. Standing on second base as Daryl Thompson comes home with his first pitch, and it misses outside for ball number 1. Thompson looked a little bit slower coming on that delivery on that last pitch. Hopefully he's sitting pretty and perfectly okay as strike number 1 is swung on. Foul tip back into the mitt of Charlie Valerio. The defensive alignment for the Blue Crabs from left to right in the outfield is Joe Benson, Corey Vaughn, and Travis Witherspoon as Thompson misses upstairs. 2-1 the count. From left to right in the infield, it's Tony Thomas, Kent Blackstone, Ruby Silva, and Josh McAdams. Charlie Valerio does the catching duties behind the dish as a fastball swung on and missed. 2-2 the count. Beg your pardon, a foul tip there. Thompson in his 4th inning of work entered play, leading the Atlantic League in wins, strikeouts, games started, and innings pitched. Tied for first in complete games and shutouts. 2nd in whip, 3rd in win percentage, 4th in ERA. As a curveball hangs up and is fouled off towards the Blue Crabs bullpen. 2-2 remains the count. The Blue Crabs, after allowing 5 earned runs through the first 45 innings of this homestand, saw their post-All-Star ERA dip down to 3.67. That is more than a full run better than their ERA pre-All-Star break. Here on Stats Sunday on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network, fastball fouled away from Darby Myers, who has been much improved in the second half of this season. He hits .278 in the second half, .258 on the season. He started the season with the Somerset Patriots and really struggled in a Patriots uniform, hitting just .214, but has excelled in a Ducks uniform. Fastball in there for strike number, make that ball number 3. The count full at 3-2. Myers 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Fouled off once more. Thompson has now thrown 64 pitches, and he's in his 4th inning of work. Thompson is known for his rubber arm, if you will. He goes very deep into the games quite frequently. Chafee was up and throwing earlier in this contest, and that's the first time I've seen any action in the Blue Crabs bullpen prior to the 4th inning when Daryl Thompson starts a game. Outside of just one time I've seen somebody warm up in the 4th inning, but honestly, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody warm up prior to the 6th inning when Daryl Thompson is pitching for the Blue Crabs this season. Earlier this season, Daryl threw his 2,000th professional inning, struck out his 1,500th professional batter, and picked up his 100th win of his professional career. Darby Myers is not going to go down easy in this at-bat here on a little bit of a sunny day here in Waldorf. Talk about the strikeouts for Daryl Thompson. Why don't we go through his season bests for strikeout in a game? The most strikeouts he's had in a game this season is 9. That was all the way back on July the 29th against the High Point Rockers. He has struck out 8 batters 6 times this season. One of those was the Long Island Ducks back on May 13th. Ground ball to the left side. Tony Thomas dives, gets it in front of him, but it will stay in the infield for an infield single. the 8th hit by the Long Island Ducks today. So 6 times as he struck out 8 batters. Thompson has struck out 7 batters 4 times, 6 batters twice, 5 batters 6 times, 4 batters 3 times, and 3 batters 4 times. The least strikeouts in a game for Daryl Thompson this season is 3, and that will not change today as Daryl has already struck out a quartet of Long Island Ducks to this point in the contest. He is now at 155 strikeouts on this 2019 season, 9 shy of tying an Atlantic League record in a single season, 10 short of setting a new record in the Atlantic League for strikeouts in a season. Left-handed batsman Steve Lombardozzi comes up. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Curveball outside corner. Misses, and the count 1-1. Lombardozzi actually singled just in the 3rd inning, an inning ago. He led off that frame. The Ducks went single, RBI double, and then a 2-run shot from Debinson Romero put up the 4th run of the 3rd inning for the Ducks. Thompson steps off and checks over at Myers on first, who has good speed. This one lofted to the left side and shallow. Joe Benson with his sunglasses and the sun reflecting comes in to catch for out number 1. And F7 is out number 1 of this 4th. That was Thompson's 73rd pitch of his evening, but no action right now in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Thompson back with a smile on his face, which is always a good sign. They say he has fun like a little kid out there on the mound. Thompson has pitched everywhere from Vermont to Las Vegas to Venezuela in his professional career, but this season, his 17th professional season, has been the best of his career statistically. Entered play with a 2.99 ERA and personal bests in the Atlantic League in strikeouts. Personal bests in his 17 seasons at the at this professional level. Season bests in strikeouts, innings pitched, and wins. Entered play with 15 wins, 151 strikeouts, and 180 and 2/3 innings pitched. And that's the vintage Thompson we know and love. Fly ball to the right side weakly. Travis Witherspoon comes on and catches for out number 2. Mentioned it earlier, but Thompson is a self-proclaimed individual that does not look for strikeouts. This season, he's just gotten a whole lot of them. Last season, he struck out 67 batters in 96 innings. This season, he entered play with 151 strikeouts in 182 innings. In fact, last year, Daryl had 43 strikeouts through his 9th start of the season. Entering his 9th start of the season, he had a 1.53 ERA, but a line drive broke his jaw, and he was out for about 2 months, was still named an Atlantic League All-Star. Ball number 1, just a touch high, a touch outside to Hector Sanchez, and the count 1-0. Sanchez in his 3rd at-bat of the game, he doubled his last time up to bring in a run, make that 2 runs. Runner goes on the pitch. Valerio, a snap throw down to second, not in time as Blackstone gobbles it out of the dirt. The count 2-0. The line for Thompson to this point, 3 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. This is the most earned runs he's allowed since August the 13th versus the Sugarland Skeeters. It's the most hits he's allowed since that day as well. Interestingly, that day, he had the second most strikeouts he's thrown in this second half with 8 of them. It's a foul ball that snapped back and hits off the home plate umpire, Larry Rosenberg. First base umpire would be Bill Worthington, and the third base umpire, Joe DeBalso. As Lou Ford, the 43-year-old third base coach for the Ducks, slaps on some signs over there in the third base coach box. Ryan Chafee is not throwing right now, but stands with his hands on his hips right over near the bullpen, which makes me think that he may be on edge and getting ready to throw again. Curveball fouled by Hector Sanchez, and he has really had Daryl Thompson's number in terms of expecting what's coming. Thompson's name of the game is changing speeds, changing locations, but today Hector Sanchez has expected every single one of them. when Thompson gives that big breaking ball that comes in the high 60s, low 70s. Sanchez hasn't been fooled here on Bark in the Park Day in Southern Maryland. Fastball line down the first baseline and foul. The count 1-2. The runner at second, Darby Myers. Earlier this season, Daryl Thompson struck out, got a win in 11 straight starts, which is something that a handful of people around the Blue Crabs clubhouse have told me that is just incredible. Dean Green, now a former Blue Crab, told me he's never seen anything like that. Now, mind you, we're not talking a win in 11 straight starts with some no decisions mashed in there. We're talking about a win in 11 straight starts. Like his decision every start was a win. That's absolutely incredible considering the fact that only 12 times since 1908 has an MLB pitcher had more than 11 wins in a row. Only 3 times since 1968. Couple of looks back to second. Thompson keeping Myers close. Well struck fly ball to right center field. Corey Vaughn's got a tag on it and catches it in deep right center field for out number 3. Thompson escapes his 4th inning of work here on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network. And Hector Sanchez flies out to center field after a leadoff single from Darby Myers. Let's send it into the 3rd. Andrew Banstra to take you through the bottom of the 4th when we return on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, this is Andrew Banstra, the voice of the Blue Crabs, and I have some exciting news for you. Did you know that the Blue Crabs Atlantic League has partnered with the MLB? This groundbreaking partnership includes rule changes that foreshadow the future of America's pastime as we know it. The MLB wants to create more offense and cut down on the time of games, and the rule changes to achieve this include banning mound visits, requiring each pitcher that enters the game to face at least 3 batters, and shortening time in between innings, and much more. Come be the first to see the future of baseball at Regency Furniture Stadium.
This is Kent Blackstone, infielder for the Blue Crabs. Here at Regency Furniture Stadium, we've dedicated every Friday home game to remember everybody deployed. On Red Fridays, presented by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, the Blue Crabs will wear red uniforms to honor those who have served, plus tickets are just $5 when you show your military ID. Come help us celebrate those who have served our country at Regency Furniture Stadium every Friday night.
To the bottom of the 4th we go. The Blue Crabs have some work to do. We stay in touch with the New Britain Bees Sugarland Skeeters game that is currently in the bottom of the 6th. Keep in mind, if the Ducks win and the Bees lose today, the Ducks will clinch the second half championship here in this 2019 season. Special announcement yesterday was that the Blue Crabs will host the 2020 Atlantic League All-Star Game. Really exciting, and I found out earlier today that the last time that the Blue Crabs hosted an Atlantic League All-Star Game, which was back in 2013, the booth that I sit in right now, talking to you as we speak, was occupied by Roger Clemens for about 30 minutes back on that night in 2013. Clemens had a son that played in the Atlantic League. Clemens himself played in the Atlantic League for the Sugarland Skeeters. As a fastball misses off the outside corner, 1-1 the count as Brian Mattis works into his 4th inning. Faces off against John Griffin, who's 0 for 1 entering this at bat. John Griffin's first time up, he flew out to the right fielder, Darby Myers, for out number 3 of the 1st inning. Mattis has seen just 2 more than the minimum 9 batters in this 3 innings that he's worked. He walked the batter, that was Tony Thomas in the 2nd, also allowed a single in the 3rd from Ruby Silva. Silva has had hits in 8 of his last 9 games, make that 9 of his last 10 The one hit he didn't have a game in, he was a pinch runner and had just one at bat in the contest as John Griffin flares one to right field. That'll drop for a base hit single. And that makes the Blue Crabs have 3 straight innings that they have gotten their leadoff man on base. And at a point, you just got to capitalize on that. The only run that the Blue Crabs scored last night was on an infield single that Ruby Silva hit over towards the first baseman, David Washington. Honestly, it should have just been a routine play, but Ruby Silva sprinted out of the box. Washington wasn't expecting it, and a covering pitcher was not in time on an errant throw. The play went down as a single. Silva then saw the man after him, Mike Falsetti, ground to the shortstop, Vladimir Frias. Frias had a low throw off to the second baseman, Steve Lombardozzi. It got past Lombardozzi and went into shallow, very shallow center field. And as per usual, Silva was just flying around the base paths as Tony Thomas rips the ball foul. The count of ball and a strike. Silva was flying around the base paths, didn't stop at second, and also didn't stop at third. Lombardozzi, I don't know what was going on in shallow center field, but somehow Silva came around to score. That's the only run the Blue Crabs have scored, and they're currently in their 24th inning of this series. 23rd, as Tony Thomas skies the ball in the shallow infield, right in the middle of the dirt. Steve Lombardozzi catches for out number 1. And F4 is the 10th out recorded by Brian Mattis today. That brings up Corey Vaughn. Vaughn 0 for 1 with a fly out to the right fielder, Darby Myers, for the first out of the second inning. Vaughn has not faced Brian Mattis in his Atlantic League career prior to today. Curveball swung on and missed for strike number 1. Vaughn has comparatively struggled in the second half. Hits just .233 in the second half of the season. The power's still been there with 8 home runs, 19 RBIs. This one off the end of Vaughn's bat, fouled off for strike number 2. The Blue Crabs' best stretch of this season was when Dean Green was on the team. He tore his Achilles and exited the team, but he left with a batting average slightly above 300, and the Blue Crabs were terrific with him in the lineup. A much missed piece of this lineup, although Tony Thomas has done a stellar job filling in. There was just something about Dean Green. Even Tony Thomas said one day during one of his post-game interviews, he said that, I asked him, what was going on. He was hitting really, really well, and he said, some of it is because Dean Green was added to this clubhouse, and I've just been talking to him about hitting. And when that can happen and that can have that type of effect on a great hitter like Tony Thomas, Dean Green's doing something right. As a diving play from Debinson Romero turns into a 5-4-3 double play. Suddenly, we're through 4 innings of play here in Southern Maryland, and it's a 5-0 one-hitter for Brian Mattis. Make that 2-hitter as Mike Falsetti comes in. He's going to catch Daryl Thompson out on the mound for his 5th inning when we come back on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Blue Crabs fans, are you looking to watch a game from one of our luxury suites? How about the High-End Legends Club in left field? Call 301-638-9788 and ask to speak to a sales representative about your party or group outing.
Welcome back into the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network. Debinson Romero leads us off in this top of the fifth inning. The time, 3:29. We're about an hour and 24 minutes into this game. Nearing the halfway point. Would be on track for the longest game that we've seen in this homestand, which would be 3 hours, which really isn't that bad considering the MLB average this season is well over 3 hours. Haven't checked in a couple of weeks. Last I saw was at 3:07, I believe. The count 2-0 from Daryl Thompson in his fifth inning of work. This one fouled over my head in the press box. 2-1 the count. As I believe that landed right up here. Either that or right on top of my head. I say that because both Debinson Romero and Charlie Valerio, the catcher and the hitter, both looked up here as if I was about to get hit, which made me a little bit nervous, but we continue on. Earlier this season, former broadcast partner, I'm sure you heard him a lot of times, Austin Rooney, caught a ball. I believe it was his second day here. He caught one off a bounce. It bounced on the concourse level and somehow got all the way up here about 30 or 40 or 50 feet above that as Debinson Romero flies one to left field. Joe Benson back to the warning track. Nearly hits into the Educational Systems Federal Credit Union sign, but catches it for out number 1. Romero's last time up, he hit a 2-run home run. That gives way to Daniel Fields. Thompson right now sitting on 155 strikeouts on the season. That is 9 short of tying an Atlantic League record for strikeouts in a season. It is 10 short of breaking a new Atlantic League record. He's going to have to strike out some more batters in this start to get himself closer and better on track to getting towards that record. Daniel Fields this season has faced Daryl Thompson 9 times and has struck out in each and every plate appearance. Fastball misses for ball number 1. 1-1 the count to Daniel Fields. But 9 strikeouts and 9 at-bats for Fields. Gives a good case for getting another strikeout. Won't happen this time. Finally puts one in play. Corey Vaughn comes in and catches a line drive for out number 2 of the inning. A quick one to this point for Daryl Thompson. Thompson has a really strong case for Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year this season. Would be his first time winning those honors. 4th time that a Blue Crab would have won those honors. I believe Southern Maryland's pitchers won the Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year in each of their first 2 seasons in franchise history. As Ramon Cabrera comes up to the plate, he's 2 for 2 with a single and a double. Cabrera entered play just hitting 5 for 30 against the Blue Crabs, but has been awfully good in this series. I beg your pardon, in this game. His first game played at the series. The count 0-1. Next pitch, a curveball swung on and missed. The lonely wave makes way for strike number 2. Thompson looking for strikeout number 156 of his season. As I believe Kevin Munson warms up in the Blue Crabs bullpen. He's just stretching right now. 0-2, here it comes. Curveball off the outside corner, misses. And it's ball number 1. Daryl struck out a batter in the first. 2 batters in the second, 1 in the third. No strikeouts to this point in the fourth. I beg your pardon, in the fifth. Had no strikeouts in the fourth. 1-2. Fastball hit the other way and foul. Should get out of play and just about does. Cabrera enters play as a .251 hitter on this 2019 season. Hector Sanchez gets more starts at the catcher's position for the Long Island Ducks. His average a hair higher on the season. Thompson has now thrown 93 pitches. I expect him to go 6 this evening. Beg your pardon, this afternoon. 1-2. Fastball hit shallow into right field. Ranging back is Ruby Silva and catching for out number 3. That puts us at the halfway point of this ball game. 3 up, 3 down for Daryl Thompson, who is now stranded. I beg your pardon. He has retired 6 straight Long Island Ducks on 6 straight flyouts. The score 5-0, Ducks in charge on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
This is Adam Choplik, 6'9" lefty of the Blue Crabs, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum is a place with thousands of stories to be told. It's a place to relive baseball's greatest moments and share them with future generations. It's a place to experience the game and how it has shaped our history. Cooperstown is a destination with something for the entire family. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your trip to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown at baseballhall.org.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, this is Andrew Banstra, the voice of the Blue Crabs, and I have some exciting news for you. Did you know that the Blue Crabs Atlantic League has partnered with the MLB? This groundbreaking partnership includes rule changes that foreshadow the future of America's pastime as we know it. The MLB wants to create more offense and cut down on the time of games, and the rule changes to achieve this include banning mound visits, requiring each pitcher that enters the game to face at least 3 batters, and shortening time in between innings, and much more. Come be the first to see the future of baseball at Regency Furniture Stadium.
This is Corey Vaughn. Are you looking for fun on the weekend without breaking the bank? My Eye Doctor Backfin Buddies is for you. For just $15, your child will get in for free to every Friday Blue Crabs home game all season long. Plus, kids receive a Backfin Buddies t-shirt, go on the field for the national anthem, and parents will get a reduced ticket rate. What more could you ask for? Come watch me hit a home run every Friday for just $15.
This is John Hayes, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Charlie Valerio leads us off in the bottom of the 5th. Southern Maryland desperately needs a spark to their batting order. In each of the last 3 innings, the Blue Crabs have led off the frame with a man on base, but have been unable to get him around to score. The deepest that runner has gotten is second base, as Valerio fouls the ball back into the screen. The count 0-1. Charlie, interestingly, a friend of Manny Ramirez's, a likely future Hall of Famer. Manny Ramirez took a month-long vacation to Japan with Charlie Valerio. Curveball in the dirt, 1-1 the count. In 17 games this season, Valerio hits .313 with 3 home runs, 5 RBIs versus the Ducks. This evening, he's 0-1 with a hard line out to left field. L.J. Mazzilli, the left fielder today for the Ducks, has been fielding his position very well. A ball so high I could hardly see it up there near the clouds, but it comes down into the glove of the center fielder Daniel Fields for out number 1 of the 5th. That brings up Josh McAdams. He's 0-1 with a strikeout swinging. Mattis has 4 strikeouts in this contest, but the final out recorded of his 2nd inning and all 3 of the outs in his 3rd inning were strikeouts. There was a single mixed in there from Ruby Silva, but 4 straight outs came via the strikeout. Outside of that, no strikeouts for the left-handed Mattis. Strike number 1 on the outside corner. Mattis, an 8-year MLB veteran, spent 8 seasons with the Baltimore Orioles, a part of the 2016 season with the Chicago Cubs, as Josh McAdams fouls a ball back, 0-2 the count. Mattis appeared in just 1 game for the Cubs in 2016. He got the start, allowing 6 earned in 3 innings, but the Cubs, in that season that they won the World Series, still gave Mattis a World Series ring. He was 4-time Pitcher of the Week in minor league ball. Originally was selected by the Angels in the 4th round of the 2005 draft at high school, but did not sign. He was then selected 4th overall in the 1st round out of University of San Diego in 2008 by the Baltimore Orioles. 0-2, swung on and missed. McAdams goes down on strikes. 2 away here at the top, make that the bottom of the 5th. Mattis' last start, he earned his 2nd win in a row as the Ducks defeated the York Revolution 3-1 last Tuesday. Southpaw lasted a season-high 6 2/3 innings, allowing a run on 2 hits and no walks while striking out a season-high 9 batters. He threw 93 pitches in the outing, 77% strikes. Mattis retired the first 9 batters he faced, and the only run he allowed was on a solo homer from Carlos Franco in the 7th. Mattis found success in his first season at the major league level, in his first full season, I should say. Ruby Silva steps in, hits this one well to the left side. That one has a chance and gets out of here. Bye-bye baseball. Home run number 12 of the year for Ruby Silva. That home run ball is headed all the way to Charlotte Hall Veterans Home. Silva, a dozen home runs on the season. The Blue Crabs on the board. The Blue Crabs have scored 2 runs in this series. Both of them scored from Ruby Silva. That's Silva's second home run of this homestand. So his second in his last 6 games played. Travis Witherspoon up to the dish. First pitch inside, misses. Ball number 1. Bottom of the 5th, the Blue Crabs on the board. 3 hits in the contest from Southern Maryland, 2 of them from Ruby Silva. Witherspoon grounds one to the left side and foul. Nice play by a fan over there. And he comes up with the ball. The kid's probably about 5 years old, and he made a spectacular play. Witherspoon, they call him Spoon, sees a 1-1 count. The pitch from Mattis, off the outside edge, misses for ball number 2. Mattis was a midseason All-Star in the Carolina League in 2009 with the Frederick Keys. Played in the Futures game that year during the MLB All-Star festivities at St. Louis's Busch Stadium. Witherspoon swings through a pitch, 2-2 the count. Mattis was selected to Baseball All-America's Major League All-Rookie team in 2010. Was also the Rookie of the Month in August 2010. Did not pitch during the 2018 season after spending 2017 in the AAA Reno of the Arizona Diamondbacks as Mattis strikes out yet another Blue Crab batter. We're through 5 here in Southern Maryland. The Blue Crabs have been through their order twice. Just 1 run to show for it. We'll be right back on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the Switch. I like the scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
Welcome back into the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network. Daryl Thompson back out for his 6th inning of work. And we take you in to the 6th, and the Blue Crabs find themselves trailing by a score of 5-1. The 1 run comes on a Ruby Silva solo shot back in the bottom of the 5th inning. Vladimir Frias up to the dish. Line drive through the right side leads us off with a single in the 6th inning. Frias now 1 for 2. He was also hit by a pitch. He later scored the first run of the game for the Ducks. Clint Freeman comes up to the box. Thompson with 4 strikeouts today, currently sitting at 155 on the season. Looking for the most strikeouts in a single season in Atlantic League history. That mark is 164, set by Jonathan Albaladejo back in 2016. He was the Atlantic League Pitcher of the Year that season. As another arm gets up and warming in the Blue Crabs bullpen, looks like Ryan Chafee as Clint Freeman fouls one away. The count 1-1. Freeman caused some trouble for Daryl Thompson back in the second inning. He had an RBI single with the bases loaded. It was a little nubber up the middle. Thompson had trouble fielding it. It went down as an RBI single as a curveball comes across for strike number 2. Freeman on the season, 1 for 8 against Daryl Thompson. Thompson once again 9 strikeouts shy of tying an Atlantic League record for strikeouts in a season. Curveball. This could be 2. Ruby Silva to second. Here comes Kent Blackstone back to first. Beautifully executed double play from a middle infield combo that has played very few games together this season. 4-6-3 and a beautiful double play ball. Thompson has now thrown 99 pitches this evening. Likely his last inning of work. If he can get one more strikeout tonight, he'd make his way a lot easier for his next start. I say that because entering play today, he needed 14 strikeouts over his next 2 starts to break an Atlantic League record for strikeouts in a season, 13 to tie it. So he loses his footing and misses off the outside corner, ball number 1 to Darby Myers. Thompson currently 155 strikeouts on the season, 9 short of tying the record. So that means that if he strikes out nobody else today, he needs 10 in his final start of the season to break the Atlantic League record. His season high for strikeouts in an outing is 9. So that's a tough task. As Kent Blackstone fumbles a reception on ground ball to him over at short, getting some football knowledge in here on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network. I hope everybody's fantasy team's doing well today. Week 2 of the NFL. Pitch number 101 of Daryl Thompson's evening. Make that outing. As Darby Myers reaches on an error. Curveball down low. Misses to Steve Lombardozzi, a former Blue Crab. Lombardozzi 1 for 3 today. He has had at least 1 hit in each of the 3 games of this series. Currently 3 for 10 on the series. To this point, he flew out to the right fielder, Travis Witherspoon. Grounded a single in the 3rd, later scored. And then flew out to the left fielder, Joe Benson, back in the 4th. Top of the 6th, 2 down and a runner at first. Fastball just misses. Thompson snatches it back. Didn't visibly show displeasure to Daryl. He's not that type of guy, but if he in the back of his mind is thinking, I thought that was a strike, I would tend to agree with him. 2-0 runner goes on the pitch. Valerio doesn't even think about tossing down to second, and the count 3-0. That was Daryl Thompson's 104th pitch of this outing. And the fact, honestly, if nobody was up in the pen, I would tell you I would be surprised if he didn't come back out for the 7th. But the fact that somebody was warming up in the 3rd and the fact that he's in triple digits makes me think this will likely be his last inning of work. He's in his league-leading 27th start of the season. If he makes it into the 6th inning today, he will have worked at least 6 full innings. I beg your pardon, if he gets into the 7th today. He'll have worked at least 6 full innings in 26 of his 27 starts this season. Today, one of just 5 times this year that he has allowed more than 3 runs in a start. A 4-pitch walk to Steve Lombardozzi puts runners at first and second. Off-speed pitch downstairs. Ball number 1 to the 3-hole hitter, L.J. Mazzilli. Lombardozzi, Mazzilli, Hector Sanchez, and Debinson Romero had back-to-back hits back in the second, which plated 4 runs. Capped off by a 2-run home run from Romero. Line drive to the right side. Back goes Travis Witherspoon. Glove over the head, and he snags it for out number 3. Thompson works 6 5-run innings. Likely the day for Darryl. Ryan Chafee up in the mound. Should Thompson's day be over, he'll have to strike out 9 batters in his final start of the season to tie an Atlantic League record for strikeouts in a season. And he'd have to set a new season best with 10 strikeouts in that final start to break that Atlantic League record. Keep in mind, Thompson earlier this season was on track for more than 10 more than the record, but lost a start due to having the stomach flu, or a stomach bug, I guess we'll say. Nonetheless, Brian Mattis will enter the bottom of the 6th. Top of the order up for the Blue Crabs, Kent Blackstone, Joe Benson, John Griffin on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the Switch. I like the scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum is a place with thousands of stories to be told. It's a place to relive baseball's greatest moments and share them with future generations. It's a place to experience the game and how it has shaped our history. Cooperstown is a destination with something for the entire family. Our stories to tell, your memory.
Kent Blackstone leads us off in the bottom of the 6th inning of baseball. Still some action in the Blue Crabs bullpen, which begs the question, will Darryl Thompson come out for the 7th? My money is in the no boat, although I'd love to see him back out for the 7th. Here comes Kent Blackstone. He puts a jolt into a baseball. Going back to right fielder, Darby Myers. Bye-bye baseball. Kent Blackstone goes deep for the 4th time of the season. Bye-bye baseball. Blackstone. A quartet of home runs on the 2019 campaign. So now the Blue Crabs trailing just 5-2. Southern Maryland has 4 hits in this game, 2 of them solo shots. We have seen a game in this homestand where the New Britain Bees against the Blue Crabs had 3 hits in a game, 2 of them solo shots. Joe Benson up to the plate. He also has 4 home runs on the season. Yesterday in batting practice, he was just hitting them out right and left. Blackstone in this series has 2 hits, 1 a triple, the other a home run. Ball number 1 downstairs from Brian Mattis. He found success in his first full major league season with the Orioles in 2010. The Arizona resident posted a 10-12 record with a 4.30 ERA in 32 starts that season. If this pitch misses outside 2-1. Those numbers on that home run from Kent Blackstone, 100 miles an hour off the bat, 379 feet, and a 28-degree launch angle. An absolute bomb from Kent Blackstone. Joe Benson steps out for just a moment. The count 2-2. Mattis is now allowed 2 runs. Last pitch, a 77-mile-an-hour curveball, comes back with a fastball past the waving bat of Joe Benson for out number 1. That brings up John Griffin. He's 1 for 2 today. Griffin currently riding a 3-game hit streak. He's had hit in each of the games in this series. He's actually hit awfully well in this series. Griffin currently 3 for 6. Make that 3 for 7 in a 3-game set with the Long Island Ducks. He's also drawn a walk. Griffin waves the bat. First pitch from Mattis. Fouled over towards the right side. Clint Freeman, the first baseman, giving chase. Near his own dugout, catches for out number 2. I thought surely that ball was going to get out of play, but it did not. A pair of solo shots in the 5th and 6th have given the Blue Crabs some run support. But they'll need a little bit more than that to keep it going. We're nearly through 2/3 of a ball game. Exactly 1 hour and 50 minutes ago is the scheduled first pitch. First pitch was actually thrown at 2:11. So an hour and 44 minutes ago. The count, Thomas, he's got 16 home runs on the season. Had 2 home runs in 3 days just a couple of days ago. Fastball on the outside corner, strike number 2. And at this point, it looks inevitable that Ryan Chafee will enter the game for the 9th. I beg your pardon, for the 7th. Mattis with the 0-2. Thomas takes high and outside. The count 1-2. If Daryl Thompson is done, he'd have thrown 107 pitches, 69 of them for strikes. It's a nice margin. The 1-2 from Mattis. Swing and a miss. Strikeout swinging from Tony Thomas. Mattis finds himself now having struck out a total of 8 Blue Crabs through 6 innings worked, 2 in this inning alone. We take you into the 7th inning of baseball on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, this is Andrew Banstra, the voice of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, and I want you to come see America's pastime change before your eyes. Did you know that the Atlantic League is partnered with the MLB starting this season to incorporate an electronic strike zone to call balls and strikes at Blue Crabs games? That means a radar tracking technology and an MLB-defined strike zone will determine strikes and balls at Southern Maryland Blue Crabs games this season. Also, batters can steal first base on any pitch that is not caught by the catcher. Baseball is changing before our eyes, and the only place to see it happen is here in the Atlantic League and at a Blue Crabs game. So come check it out at Regency Furniture Stadium.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm in sales and marketing for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Have you always wanted to see world record get beaten? Come out to the Blue Crabs game on Sunday, August 18th, as we will try and beat the world record for most people playing catch at the same time. Be a part of history at Regency Furniture Stadium on August 18th for World Records Day. We can't wait to see you at the ballpark as we make history.
Chooky Beat.
This is Ryan Chafee, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Ryan Chafee enters the game for the Blue Crabs here in the top of the 7th. The day's done for Daryl Thompson. For just the 5th time in 27 starts, he gives up more than 3 runs in an outing. He finds himself striking out 4 batters. He is now 9 strikeouts shy of tying an Atlantic League record in a single season and 10 shy of breaking the record. Ground ball to the first baseman, Josh McAdams. Tossed to a covering Ryan Chafee for out number 1. As Hector Sanchez grounds out to lead us off. That brings up Debinson Romero. He's 1 for 2. He also drew a walk, but that one has a big exclamation point next to it. He was the capper of 4 straight Ducks with base hits in the third. It was Lombardozzi and Mazzilli with a pair of singles to start it off. They'd both score on a Hector Sanchez double, and Debinson Ramirez brought Sanchez home on a 2-run home run. Fastball low and away, 1-0 the count. Ryan Chafee on the season. A 5.51 ERA, but he's been masterful against the Ducks. 4 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 unearned run, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Ground ball to the third baseman, Tony Thomas. Tossed across the infield for out number 2. Two quick outs for Ryan Chafee, who has now thrown 5 1/3 scoreless innings against the Ducks this season in the in the earned runs column. Daniel Fields comes up to the plate. Fields 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. 1 looking, 1 swinging. He recorded the second out of the second, third, and fifth inning of this contest. Chafee looking to make him out number 3 here in the 7th. Line drive down the left field line. That should drop for extra bases. It just tiptoes the line. Joe Benson comes up with it. And a strong throw into second, just a hair late, as Silva slaps the tag on him a couple times, just having some fun with Daniel Fields. I've got an interesting story to tell you. I was looking through the game notes for the Long Island Ducks, and I saw a familiar subject. I went to school at Buena Vista University in Storm Lake, Iowa. That's about an hour north of Fort Dodge, Iowa, which is the city that Iowa Central Community College is in. One of my best friends growing up attended Iowa Central Community College, so I'd go down and visit him every weekend. And I met one of his friends a whole lot of times. His name's Anderson De Leon. Just so turns out that De Leon, after being drafted by the Cincinnati Reds in the 24th round out of Iowa Central Community College in 2017, now finds himself as a member of the starting rotation for the Long Island Ducks. So I ran into Anderson earlier today. It was really nice to see him. He had a big old smile on his face. He couldn't believe his eyes. He said to me, he was like, "How far are we from Iowa?" I said, "We're pretty far from Iowa," which is where I'm originally from. Interestingly, I beg your pardon, additionally, Anderson, because he lives so far away from home, he's from New York, found himself just coming home with my friend Foster for every winter break, for one of the winter breaks, I believe winter break, maybe Thanksgiving break. Nonetheless, I spent a good amount of time with Anderson, so it's just crazy how small this world is. I mean, additionally, about 2 months ago, I play in a men's league for baseball, and I also played in a men's league during the summers back home between my collegiate seasons, and I played with a guy named Joe Fred in my men's league back home. And I play in a men's league up here, and guess who I ran into? Halfway across the country, playing in a men's league game, and on the other team, I hear the name Joe Fred, and I thought to myself, there's just too small of a chance of possibility that there is 2 Joe Freds. So I look out, and no other than the same Joe Fred that I know, so I go and talk to him. You just don't see stuff like that too often, and the baseball world is awfully small. Ryan Chafee makes this ballpark look small on a shallow fly out to right field. We are through the top of the 7th inning. It's stretch time in Southern Maryland. Sweet Caroline time, to be more specific.
This is Kent Blackstone, infielder for the Blue Crabs. Here at Regency Furniture Stadium, we've dedicated every Friday home game to remember everybody deployed. On Red Fridays, presented by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, the Blue Crabs will wear red uniforms to honor those who have served, plus tickets are just $5 when you show your military ID. Come help us celebrate those who have served our country at Regency Furniture Stadium every Friday night. This is Kent Blackstone, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Well, the Blue Crabs have homered in each of the last 2 innings. They've scored 2 in that time frame, which is 1 more run than they scored combined in the first 2.5 games of this series. In fact, it was 23 innings before they scored more than that. Ground ball to the left side. It gets through, and Corey Vaughn leads us off with a base hit single through the 5.5 hole. That home run from Kent Blackstone earlier, 100 miles an hour off the bat. It went 379 feet with a 28-degree launch angle. Bye-bye baseball. As Charlie Valerio comes up to the plate. Vaughn was hitting just 125 on the homestand entering play today as Charlie Valerio pops one up. Shallow infield should be playable for Debinson Romero as he catches it for out number 1. First out of this bottom of the 7th, Vaughn started this series 0 for 10 after and then got his first hit. The Blue Crabs have led off an inning with a runner reaching base in 4 of the 7 innings. As Josh McAdams steps into the right-handed batter's box. He hits one a mile, but it will stay in this ballpark. It will not stay in this ballpark, but it gets well foul as Brian Mattis gets into his 9th inning. Beg your pardon, 7th inning of work. Once again, hope everybody's fantasy teams are doing well today. Week 2 of the NFL season. Swing and a miss from Josh McAdams. He looks down at his hand. May have slipped off a little bit on that swing. Brian Mattis has a season high of 6 2/3 innings this year. Fastball way off the outside corner. Ball and 2 strikes. Two home runs in this game for the Blue Crabs. 5 total hits. The Ducks have 10 hits in this game, which matches what they had through the first 20 innings of this series. Fastball off the end of the bat of Josh McAdams. The count 1-2 to Josh. He's 0 for 6 in the series, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts today. Trying to turn that around in this at-bat. Match what his counterpart Corey Vaughn did, picking up his first hit of the series. Once again, some really exciting news coming your way. And that the Blue Crabs will be hosting the 2020 Atlantic League All-Star Game. Keep in mind, we need to keep our eyes on that Skeeters-Bees game. As Josh McAdams swings and misses strike number 3. He's down on strikes for the second out of this 7th inning. And that gives way to the man with 2/5 of the Blue Crabs hits today. It's Ruby Silva. 1 for 2. He's got a home run in his last time up, a stolen base, and a single in this game. He's 3 for 7 on the series. And Brian Mattis' day is done. He'll come out after 6 2/3 innings pitched. Get you everything you need to know on the newcomer into the game when we come back on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Hi, this is Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk. Make your plans today to visit Cooperstown and the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Reconnect with your memories of the game and make new memories with your family. Check out baseballhall.org today for more information.
Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there, Joe.
The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, preserving history, honoring excellence, and connecting generations.
This is Corey Vaughn. Are you looking for fun on the weekend without breaking the bank? My Eye Doctor Backfin Buddies is for you. For just $15, your child will get in for free to every Friday Blue Crabs home game all season long. Plus, kids receive a Backfin Buddies t-shirt, go on the field for the national anthem, and parents will get a reduced ticket rate. What more could you ask for? Come watch me hit a home run every Friday for just $15.
This is Josh McAdams, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
The Long Island Ducks bring a newcomer onto the mound. Faces off against Ruby Silva. Silva on the day, 2 for 2 with a home run and a single. Let's give you some updates on Daryl Thompson's standing. Thompson, after 6 innings pitched today, is a ground ball to the right side. A beautiful play from Steve Lombardozzi as he picks up his pitcher. The newcomer into the game was a right-hander coming in for his first appearance in the contest. It is Ishmael Cabrera, and that puts us through 7 innings of baseball play. But some notes on Daryl Thompson. His 4 strikeouts today tied him for the second most strikeouts in Atlantic League history. Additionally, he finished today with 6 innings pitched, which gives him a total of 979 and a third on his career, 1 shy of the 3rd most in Atlantic League. And his 4 strikeouts today moved him into 5th in Atlantic League single-season history in strikeouts in a season, as we'll just keep it here throughout this half-inning break. So let's give you some numbers for Daryl Thompson's next start, which is scheduled on the road in Sugar Land. Likely will come on Friday, September 20th. The very last game of the Blue Crab season will be the first ever professional sports broadcast that is done all with drones. But anyways, back to Thompson. If Thompson strikes out 9 batters in his next start, he'll tie an Atlantic League single-season record for strikeouts in a season. If Thompson strikes out 10 batters in his next start, he will move into the most strikeouts in a single season in Atlantic League history. Additionally, Daryl Thompson, if he picks up a win his next time out, will tie for the most wins in an Atlantic League season in the league's history. And he has had quite the season, has Daryl Thompson. Tied for the second most strikeouts in Atlantic League history with 737. Currently the 5th most strikeouts in a single Atlantic League season history. He has just done incredible things this year. He has now moved up on the Atlantic League career chart 7 times this season and currently sits top 5 in Atlantic League history in strikeouts in a season. Doing all of this in his 17th season of professional baseball. What more could you ask for? Top of the 8th inning. Leading off is Vladimir Frias. Blue Crabs trailing 5-2. Ball number 1 upstairs. We got to keep our eyes on this New Britain versus Sugar Land game. Tied at 3 in the bottom of the 8th. If the Ducks win today and the Bees lose, the Ducks will clinch the second half. in the Liberty Division, which means a celebration in their clubhouse on home turf for the Blue Crabs. 2-1 the count. Other scores across the league, the Patriots on top of the Rockers 6-3 in the top of the 8th. And York Lancaster has gone final. Final score 5-3 as Joe Benson runs over towards the bullpen and catches for out number 1. Entering play today, the Blue Crabs found themselves 8 games, make that 7 games back of the York Revolution, but if you include a tiebreaker, the Blue Crabs were 8 games back of the York Revolution with 9 games left in the season. I beg your pardon, 8 games left in the season. So the Blue Crabs needed to win out and the York Revolution needed to lose. Well, they lose out. And the Revs did lose today by a final score of 5-3 in Lancaster. So the Blue Crabs need to win today to keep their playoff hopes alive. Clint Freeman swings and misses at a pitch upstairs, the count 0-2. Here comes Chafee back with his 0-2. Curveball right up the middle. That'll get through for a base hit single. And Clint Freeman is now 2 for 4 on the day. Freeman with the bases loaded and 1 down. Make that 2 down back in the second. Singled up the middle. Daryl Thompson had trouble fielding the ball. And that's a rare sight to see considering bench coach Joe Walsh once told me that in his 6 years with the team, he's never gotten a ball past Daryl when he tries to. But nonetheless, he had a little bit of trouble with it. A throw over to first wasn't in time. Fastball elevated, swung on and missed from Darby Myers. 0-1 the count. 1 away, a runner at first. Myers on the day, 1 for 4. He also reached on an error by the shortstop, Kent Blackstone. Blackstone and Ruby Silva have homered in this game. The scoring this afternoon got started as a pitch misses way high and inside. 1-1 the count. It got started on that Freeman single. In the third inning, back-to-back. Long Island Ducks came through with a base hit or more. Lombardozzi and Mazzilli singled in consecutive order. Hector Sanchez hit them both in on a double. And a 2-run home run off the bat of Debinson Romero capped off would put the Ducks up 5-0 at the time. Freeman trying to go first to third, but thinks better of it as Vaughn fires a strike into second base. And a single from Darby Myers puts runners at first and second with 1 away. That brings up Steve Lombardozzi, who's 3 for 10 on the series, 1 for 3 today. He's also scored a run and drawn a walk this afternoon. Home plate umpire Larry Rosenberg returns to his positioning. First base umpire Bill Worthington. Third base umpire is Joe DeBalso. Ryan Chafee onto the mound. The ERA sits at 4, make that 5.40 on the year. There was a portion of the season earlier this year where Ryan Chafee had allowed 16 earned runs in 7 innings against the York Revolution, and his ERA against the other 6 teams in the league sat well under 4. So realistically, you can't take his season numbers and think that that tells the whole story, because it's just been a little bit of struggle against the Revs and a whole lot of excellence versus everybody else. No balls, 2 strikes the count to the Major League veteran Steve Lombardozzi. If you want to get technical, it's Steve Lombardozzi Jr. His father, Steve Lombardozzi Sr., also played at the Major League level. Ruby Silva grabs some dirt and holds the runner Clint Freeman on at second. 0-2 outside, 1-2 the count. As Lombardozzi steps back into the left-handed batter's box. His father, Steve Lombardozzi, played with the Twins from 1985 to 1988 as ball 2 misses outside. I beg your pardon, strike 3. Lombardozzi down on strikes looking for out number 2. And that brings up L.J. Mazzilli. But his father, Steve Lombardozzi Sr., played from 1985 to 1988 with the Minnesota Twins, compiling a .233 batting average over 4 seasons. Next up, he played with the Houston Astros in 89 and 90. As the right-hander L.J. Mazzilli steps into the right-handed batter's box. 2 down, 5-2 score. Fastball in there on the outside corner. Top of the 8th action. Darryl Thompson in line for his 9th loss of the season. That would be back-to-back losses for the first time in this second half. In fact, it would be his first time having consecutive losses since a long, long time ago. Darryl has been phenomenal this season. If you look all the way back at his season, the last time he got back-to-back losses was when he got 4 straight losses from May 28th to May 12th. After May 12th, he didn't get a loss all the way until August 18th. He went from 2-6 all the way up to 12-6 before getting a loss. Fastball outside corner, strike 3 looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Ryan Chafee sent us into the bottom of the 8th on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, are you looking to watch a game from one of our luxury suites with 25 of your closest friends? How about the high-end Legends Club in left field? Call 301-638-9788 and ask to speak to a sales representative about your party and group outing.
Hi, this is Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk. Make your plans today to visit Cooperstown and the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Reconnect with your memories of the game and make new memories with your family. Check out baseballhall.org today for more information.
Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there, Joe.
The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum, preserving history, honoring excellence, and connecting generations.
To the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Travis Witherspoon will lead us off in the bottom of the 8th inning. Spoon, to this point in the day, finds himself 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Both of them swinging. Both of them against Brian Mattis. Newcomer onto the mound, took just 1 pitch to record 1 out his last time up. It is Ishmael Cabrera, 5.65 ERA on the season from the hard-throwing right-hander. That 1 out recorded probably should have been a base hit single in the 3rd of the day for Ruby Silva. But a beautiful play from the second baseman Steve Lombardozzi recorded out number 2. And the Long Island Ducks, well on their way to setting a franchise record for wins in a single season in their 20-year, make that 19th season of existence, as the catcher Ramon Cabrera catches for out number 1. Witherspoon goes away. The franchise record was set in their inaugural season in 2000. The Ducks had a total of 82 wins. Tied with that right now. Additionally, if the Ducks win and the Bees lose today, the Ducks will clinch a playoff spot. I beg your pardon, clinch a second half championship. As Tommy Thorpe warms in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Fastball swung on and missed. Fastball is strike number 1. And right now the Bees trailing the Skeeters 4-3. Sugar Land has the bases loaded with no outs in the top of the 9th. So if all continues, it'll look like the Ducks will be celebrating in the Blue Crabs clubhouse this evening. Bottom of the 8th, 5-2 the score. Blackstone homered his last time up. Swings and misses. Actually got a piece of it. Count 0-2. Once again, Daryl Thompson's 4 strikeouts today moved him into tied for second in Atlantic League history in career strikeouts in his 8th season in the Atlantic League. First as a player pitching coach. Additionally, his 4 strikeouts gave him 155 on the 2019 campaign. In 2019 Blue Crab team MVP Daryl Thompson now has the 5th most strikeouts in Atlantic League history in a single season. Incredible stuff from the 17th year professional. 1-2, low and inside the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Blackstone 1 for 3, a fly out to left field, a strikeout swinging, and a homer his last time up. That was his 4th of the season. It came off the bat at 100 miles an hour. High and outside, ball number 4. Blackstone on base for the 2nd time in this contest. Ishmael Cabrera allows him on, and Joe Benson comes up to the plate. Blue Crabs trying to string together some late magic. Update on that Bees game. Skeeters on top 4-3 still, top of the 9th. Bases still loaded, but 1 away. Ducks looking for win number 83 on the season. That would set a franchise best. Check over to first, not in time. Daryl Thompson's last start of the season is scheduled for Friday, September the 20th in Sugar Land, Texas, against the Skeeters. Fastball, line drive into right field. That gets through for a base hit. Runners at first and second with 1 away. And the Blue Crabs are in business with John Griffin's power bat coming up to the box. The Crabs with their most threatening strike maybe in this series. In game 1 of the series, the Blue Crabs found themselves with runners on first and second with 1 down in the bottom of the 9th, but didn't come through. It was a 0-0 game through 9 innings. In game 1 of the series, in the 8th inning, Southern Maryland had a runner at second with no outs, but a bunt attempt was popped up and a diving catch from Joe Iorio, who got the win in game 1. Ended up breaking the tides for the Blue Crabs. Griffin sees a pitch and fouls it back into the screen, 0-1 the count. This season, John Griffin has a home run in 12 games against the Long Island Ducks. Griffin's bat's been hot lately, riding a 3-game hit streak. 1 for 3 today. A pop out to first, a pop out to right, and a single back in the 4th. High and inside, that was the money pitch, but it swung on and missed, 0-2. That was a really dangerous move by Ishmael Cabrera as he tried to test the waters that are John Griffin, but Griffin came up empty on that one. Guarantee you that won't happen twice. Cabrera looked back to second. Blackstone with a conservative lead as Griffin swings through strike number 3, and that leaves it up to Tony Thomas. 2 on. A home run would tie the game, and Tony Thomas had 2 3-run home runs in 2 games just a week ago. On September 3rd and September 5th, he found himself with 2 3-run home runs, and he also had solo shots on September 12th and September 14th. Ishmael Cabrera's day is done. Let's step aside for a moment on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, this is Andrew Banstra, the voice of the Blue Crabs, and I have some exciting news for you. Did you know that the Blue Crabs Atlantic League has partnered with the MLB? This groundbreaking partnership includes rule changes that foreshadow the future of America's pastime as we know it. The MLB wants to create more offense and cut down on the time of games. And the rule changes to achieve this include banning mound visits, requiring each pitcher that enters the game to face at least 3 batters, and shortening time in between innings, and much more. Come be the first to see the future of baseball at Regency Furniture Stadium.
This is Corey Vaughn. Are you looking for fun on the weekend without breaking the bank? My Eye Doctor Backfin Buddies is for you. For just $15, your child will get in for free to every Friday Blue Crabs home game all season long. Plus, kids receive a Backfin Buddies t-shirt, go on the field for the national anthem, and parents will get a reduced ticket rate. What more could you ask for? Come watch me hit a home run every Friday for just $15.
This is John Hayes, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Tony Thomas comes up to the plate, facing off against a newcomer into the game. He inherits a tough situation. Runners on first and second with one, make that 2 away. The pitch. Thomas jams it into right field. Lombardozzi back and it drops out of his glove. That'll play to run, maybe 2. Blackstone comes around to score and an RBI single from Tony Thomas. And a chip shot makes it 3-5. Ducks still in charge, with the Blue Crabs charging back into this game. Now here comes Corey Vaughn. Vaughn leads the team in homers with 21 on the season. He started this series 1 for 10, but singled his last time up. This inning started off with a fly out, but then a walk, a single, a strikeout, and now an RBI single. Make it 5-3. The Blue Crabs have scored 3 unanswered. As Corey Vaughn fouls one swiftly back over our heads. The Blue Crabs entered this game with just 7 hits through the first 2 games of the series. They have 7 today. The Ducks entered this game with 10 hits through the first 2 games of the series and have 12 today. The pitch off the outside corner, strike number 2. Miles Smith onto the mound. He got the save in game 1 of this series. He has a 0.00 ERA in his 3rd Atlantic League appearance this season. Bottom of the 8th, 0-2 score. Make that count. Smith on Vaughn. Catcher on the outside corner. Here comes the pitch. Right up the middle, but it bounces off the pitcher, and a foot race to second is won by the shortstop, Vladimir Frias. I can't believe my eyes right now. It hits off the pitcher. If it didn't hit off the pitcher, there's just not a question about it. That would score a run, and it would be a 1-run game. But it does deflect off the pitcher, Miles Smith. And the shortstop, Vladimir Frias, wins a foot race to second and jumps over a sliding Tony Thomas. The Ducks get a stroke of luck here in the bottom of the 8th. And we take into the 9th with a 5-3 Southern Maryland deficit.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, this is Andrew Banstra, the voice of the Blue Crabs, and I have some exciting news for you. Did you know that the Blue Crabs Atlantic League has partnered with the MLB? This groundbreaking partnership includes rule changes that foreshadow the future of America's pastime as we know it. The MLB wants to create more offense and cut down on the time of games, and the rule changes to achieve this include banning mound visits, requiring each pitcher that enters the game to face at least 3 batters, and shortening time in between innings, and much more. Come be the first to see the future of baseball at Regency Furniture Stadium.
Hey Blue Crabs fans, are you looking to watch a game from one of our luxury suites? How about the High End Legends Club in left field? Call 301-638-9788 and ask to speak to a sales representative about your party or group outing.
This is Andrew Johnson, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
So a stroke of luck from the Ducks after Corey Vaughn ripped a single, what would have been a single up the middle, but it hit off of the pitcher Miles Smith right into the hands of Vladimir Frias, and just like that, it's a 5-3 game. The Blue Crabs have scored at least one run, or excuse me, exactly one run in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Let's try that one more time. The 5th, 6th, and 8th innings of this game. Ruby Silva homered back in the 5th. Kent Blackstone homered in the 6th. And an RBI single from Tony Thomas back in the 8th. Stepping into the right-handed batter's box, Hector Sanchez. Did he go? No, he didn't. The switch-hitting catcher. I said the right side, but he steps into the left side. Keeping our eyes on that New Britain game. Currently, it's in the top of the 9th. The Skeeters up 6-3. And if the Skeeters win and the Ducks win today, the Ducks would clinch the second half in the Liberty Division. They would also set a new franchise record for wins in a season with 83. They're currently tied at 82 wins with their inaugural season, which was back in 2000. Interestingly, in that season that they set their current franchise record in wins in a season, they did not make the playoffs with 82 wins. They came in second place in both the first and the second half. Today, they look to set a new record and show that they won the first and second half. Fastball inside, strike 3 looking to Hector Sanchez. Chafee says throw it around the horn, and Valerio does. It's a 5-3 score. Kent Blackstone has scored 2 of the 3 Blue Crabs runs today. It was the 4th inning that really did it for the Long Island Ducks offense. They had back-to-back hits off of Darryl Thompson, a pair of singles from Steve Lombardozzi and L.J. Mazzilli. Gave way to a Hector Sanchez 2 RBI double and a 2-run shot from Devinson Romero, who steps into the right-handed batter's box. 5-3 the score, Ducks on top. Fastball inside, swung on and missed, 0-1 the count. The Long Island Ducks have only scored in 4 innings in this series, but they are currently in line for a series sweep. They scored 2 runs in the first yesterday, 4 runs in the third today, 1 in the second today, and 1 in the 10th in the game opener. The Blue Crabs scored 1 run in game 2 in the bottom of the 8th, and 3 here today. Seems as though whatever the Blue Crabs do, the Ducks have just been edging it by a little bit. We're currently in our 27th, make that 28th inning of baseball in this series. Through 27 innings, the series score was 9-6 Ducks. That's right. There have been a total of 15 runs scored, 8 of them in this game. Curveball down low, strike number 3. Ryan Chafee with back-to-back strikeouts. Sector Sanchez and Debinson Romero go down swinging. That'll be the day for Ryan Chafee. Stan Clyburn with the call to the bullpen. Tommy Thorpe will come in when we return on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum is a place with thousands of stories to be told. It's a place to relive baseball's greatest moments and share them with future generations. It's a place to experience the game and how it has shaped our history. Cooperstown is a destination with something for the entire family. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your trip to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown at baseballhall.org.
This is Adam Choplick, left-handed pitcher for the Blue Crabs. Every Blue Crabs Wednesday home game is Wind Up Wednesday Ladies Night at Regency Furniture Stadium, presented by Cove Point Winery. At every Wind Up Wednesday Ladies Night, women will get in for just $5 and can order from a long list of fine wines. And watch every baseball game from Southern Maryland at the same time. We look forward to seeing you at the ballpark.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
Tommy Thorpe comes in for the Blue Crabs. Top of the ninth, 2 down, faces off against Daniel Fields. Ground ball down the first baseline, fouled. Tommy Thorpe's numbers on the season, 2-7 with a 6.56 ERA. He's been terrific out of a relief role. A .82 ERA in 8 appearances, 11 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Fastball off the inside corner, 1-1. The Bees currently have a runner on second, 2 away in the bottom of the ninth, trailing 6-3, meaning that assuming the Skeeters shut that one down, if the Blue Crabs are unable to come back and win today, the Ducks will clinch a Liberty Division second half championship, giving them both the first and the second half championships. Daniel Fields up to the plate. He's 1 for 4 today. The OPS at 7.77 on the season. Slider off the outside corner. Did he go? No, he didn't, says Joe DeBalso, our third base umpire. Home plate umpire today, Larry Rosenberg. At first, Bill Worthington. Tommy Thorpe on the mound. The pitch. Slider hit to right field, right at Travis Witherspoon. He ranges back and catches for out number 3. When we return on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network, it's got to be comeback time, where the Blue Crabs would see their playoff hopes slip between the cracks on the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
So, what do you like about your home?
Practice like hockey. I practice stick handling and sometimes shooting. Mommy. Go outside sometimes. I like playing lacrosse. Playing the switch. I like the scribble. Daddy. I like to build Legos at home. I have the biggest closet. Riding my dirt bike.
We help you home. At Hometown Real Estate, we want to help you and your family home. Whatever that takes and whatever that means to you. Give us a call at 888-225-2736 or online at helpyouhomebluecrabs.com.
This is Corey Vaughn, and you're listening to the Blue Crabs Broadcast Network.
To the bottom of the ninth we go. If the Blue Crabs drop this contest, their playoff hopes are out the window. 8 games left in the season, including today, as Matt Latos warms in the bullpen just in case. Blue Crabs have 8 games left, including today, and are currently 8 games back if you include a tiebreaker that they do not have, as Charlie Valerio rips one down the right field line. That'll be extra bases, or at least it should be. The right fielder, Darby Myers, comes up with it, tosses it in, and Valerio starts us off with a double down the right field line. Could this be the start of a historic comeback for your Blue Crabs? Stick around to find out. Andrew Banstra here, taking you through the series finale of a 3-game set between the Blue Crabs and the Ducks. Currently in Game 6 of a season-long 10-game homestand. The 66th home game of the season for the Blue Crabs. The 63rd game in the second half. And the 133rd game of the season. McAdams takes off the outside corner. Ball number 1. Miles Smith onto the mound. Additionally, when you forget about the playoff hopes, the Blue Crabs also don't want these Ducks celebrating on their home turf, as the champagne is ready down by their clubhouse. Fastball off the outside corner, swung on and missed. McAdams has struggled today, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. As Miles Smith comes back to the mound, he's recorded 1 out. That was back in the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 9th action, 5-3 the score. That 1 out that was recorded for Miles Smith, he inherited runners on the corners with 2 away. Corey Vaughn smoked a ball right up the middle, but it hit off the back of Miles Smith, bounced right to the shortstop Vladimir Frias, who beat Tony Thomas to second and stepped on it for out number 3. A tragic way for the inning to end. Josh McAdams drills one to left field. Bye-bye baseball. The Blue Crabs tie it up by a score of 5-5 in the bottom of the 9th. Wow. I can't believe my eyes. Josh McAdams was 0 for 7 in this series entering play. He was just 1 for 17. Wow! 1 for 17 in the homestand, and now he homers off of Miles Smith. It's the first earned run by Miles Smith this season, and the second hit in 18 tries for Josh McAdams. of all of the unlikely possibilities, this was a great one. There's a tradition of Charlie Valerio spraying down his teammates when they hit a home run. And guess what? Nobody got sprayed this time, I don't think, because Valerio was on the bases. No outs. Ruby Silva up to the plate. The count 1-0. Silva already 2 for 3 today with a homer. He should be 3 for 3 if it wasn't for a tremendous diving play by the second baseman Steve Lombardozzi. 1-1 the count. That is the third home run of the game for the Blue Crabs and the 103rd home run of the season for Southern Maryland. A little bit of a pull shift for the typical right fielder. Second baseman today, Ruby Silva, 1-2 the count. As this game will either end right here or it'll find itself going into extras for the second time at home for the Blue Crabs this season. Daryl Thompson is no longer in line for his 9th loss of the season. He will get the no decision. Tommy Thorpe currently in line for the win. Ryan Chafee came in and found himself pitching 2 2/3 innings of scoreless ball. That home run right there. 104 miles off the bat. 104 miles an hour off the bat. 379 feet, a 29-degree launch angle. A little chopper out in front of the dish. One more time, 104 miles an hour off the bat, 379 feet, and 21-degree launch angle. A line shot home run to make it 5-5, and the Blue Crabs have scored 5 unanswered. Ruby Silva waves the bat above the head. He rips one to the right side, but right at the second baseman, Steve Lombardozzi, who has been his absolute worst enemy today. He's robbed Silva of a pair of base hits in what could have been a 4-hit day. Would have been his first 4-hit day since a game at Long Island, a day before his, at the time, league best 12-game hitting streak would end. He had that 4-hit game against the Ducks. There have been multiple Blue Crabs with 4-hit games this season, but that is the best of anybody this year. 4 is the high mark. 0-1 the count of Travis Witherspoon. Kent Blackstone, who already homered in this game, waits on deck. Blue Crabs trying to salvage their playoff hopes and stop the Long Island Ducks from a celebration. Travis Witherspoon swings through a strike. 0-2 the count. The Skeeters and the Bees have gone final. The final score 6-3. So if the Ducks win today, they'll clinch the second half in the Liberty Division. Matt Lato still throwing in the Blue Crabs bullpen. This one gets away. Travis Witherspoon is going to try to steal first base. Here he goes, and he's aboard. How about that? And Tony Thomas loves it over there in the Blue Crabs dugout. Travis Witherspoon is going to steal first base. And I could see it in his eyes. He wanted to do it. You know he did. He's over there, and today he's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, both of them swinging. It gets away from the catcher. Witherspoon thought about it for a second and said, why not? And the words of Tony Thomas, when he stole first base for the first time in professional baseball history, he said, you know, I'm not going to do it all the time, but why not in this type of a situation that we just saw Witherspoon do it in? Blackstone shows bunt but pulls back at the last moment, and it's ball number 1. Joe Benson awaits on deck. John Griffin in the hole. Josh McAdams sparked some late inning magic, as did Charlie Valerio. This inning started with a double from Valerio and a 2-run home run from Josh McAdams. The pitch. Runner goes on it. Witherspoon down to second. Is he in? Yes, he is. Under the tag. And the Blue Crabs have the winning run in scoring position. Wow, what a comeback this could be. The Blue Crabs in this series plated 1 run through their first 23 innings. They have plated 5 runs in their last 5 innings, including 2 in the bottom of the 9th. Can Blackstone finish off the deal? High and outside, the count 2 balls, no strikes. Make that 3. Blackstone, in all likelihood, will take this pitch. Miles Smith probably wouldn't really care if he walked Blackstone. He already homered against a Duck today. And it would put the double play in order, as that looked to essentially be a pitch out. A walk to Kent Blackstone, who reaches base for the 3rd time today. 2nd time via the walk. He's 1 for 3 with a pair of walks. And Joe Benson has a chance at playing hero. Benson, to this point of the game, 1 for 4. He's singled in the 8th. He would be stranded on 3rd in the bottom of the 8th. This is the 5th really good scoring opportunity that the Blue Crabs have had in either the 8th or the 9th inning in this series. They've came through 3 of the 4 times previously. Joe Benson sends one to left field. That ball up at the track. See you later. The Blue Crabs walk off the Long Island Ducks, and Joe Benson plays hero. I can't believe it. And the Blue Crabs' playoff hopes stay alive. Joe Benson with a double to left field, and the Blue Crabs have spoiled the celebration that was sure to come by the Long Island Ducks. What a game! I can't believe my eyes. I just can't believe it. Wow! The Blue Crabs put up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th after plating 1 run in the first 23 innings of this series, and the fans are going crazy here in Southern Maryland. I am just beyond my mind right now. The Blue Crabs with their biggest comeback win in the 9th of their season. Southern Maryland, if they would have lost this game, would have been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and the Long Island Ducks would have celebrated in the Blue Crabs clubhouse a second-half championship, and the Ducks would have set a new franchise record for wins in a season. And with their backs against the walls, the Blue Crabs on the brink of being mathematically eliminated from the playoff picture, put up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th, 6 runs in the last 5 innings of the series to avoid being eliminated from playoff contention and to avoid a sweep from the Long Island Ducks. I just can't believe it. What an absolute star-studded show we saw from the Blue Crabs in the bottom of the 9th inning. An incredible display of resilience by Southern Maryland. Tommy Thorpe will get the win in this game. The scoring started in this contest back in the top of the 2nd inning when Clint Freeman brought a run home on a single up the middle. 4 runs scored in the 3rd inning of this contest. Those came around on a 2-run double from Hector Sanchez and was followed by a 2-run home run by Debinson Romero. The next source of scoring we saw was a Ruby Silva home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. I beg your pardon, in the bottom of the 5th inning. In the bottom of the 6th, Kent Blackstone homered. Tony Thomas singled in a run in the bottom of the 8th. And the Blue Crabs, with their backs against the walls, on the brink of being mathematically eliminated from the playoff picture, started off the 9th with a double down the right field line from Charlie Valerio. They followed it up with a home run from Josh McAdams. Kept it going when Travis Witherspoon stole first base. Advanced to second after stealing second base. And then Joe Benson plays hero and doubles to left field for his 2nd hit in the last 2 innings of the game, and gives the Blue Crabs a 6-5 season-saving victory. The Blue Crabs had 1 run in the first 2 games of this series and scored 6 runs in Game 3. In Games 1 and 2 of the series, they combined for 7 hits and had 10 hits. Here in Game 3, a masterful display of execution by Southern Maryland Tommy Thorpe gets the win, advances to 3-7 on the year. Miles Smith gets the loss, falls to 0-1 on the season. The Blue Crabs now 6 games back of the Revs in the playoff hunt and play off against the Lancaster Barnstormers in a 4-game set starting tomorrow. Andrew Banstra signing off on an incredible display from the Blue Crabs. 3 home runs in the contest and a walk-off in the bottom of the 9th. Wow, is all I can say. Let's go Blue Crabs.